Chapter 698. Lu Feidong was stunned by the question. He replied, "Aren't you the judges? I'm asking you why you gave me such a low score. Do you know what the thing I made is used for?" Yes, we are the judges, but we also represent the highest level of craftsmen from the Zhang family and Wang family. Do you think you can get 10 points for making a counting device for a carriage? If you didn't use it directly on the carriage or connect it to other things, we might have given you 9 points. Because it can also measure the speed of flowing water and wind, but you only used it on the carriage. Do you want all the carriages in Tang to have the same size of wheels and the same spacing between the supporting ribs? All the people riding the carriage don't directly ask how much it costs to travel from the east to the west. Instead, they look at how many times the wheels turn, and the price is different every time. Do you think that if you don't say it, no one can tell? We gave you 6 points because your theory is not bad and you came up with it yourself. But this thing of yours has been around for a long time. When the young master and young lady tested the speed of the washing machine and the generator, they got someone to make a more precise device than this. It's just that no one has seen it. You're always at home. Didn't you notice that young Lady Xiaobei always carries a box and jumps around? Sometimes she even shakes the box vigorously. That's called a pedometer. You're not one of the craftsmen from the Zhang family and Wang family. Otherwise, we'll give you 0 points. When did the Zhang family and Wang family become so arrogant in their research? The judge said to Lu Feidong in exasperation. Lu Feidong had just raised his head and puffed out his chest. His words were getting louder and louder. He really didn't expect that the design that he thought would amaze the world with a single brilliant feat was not only seen through by others, but it had been around for a long time. He was criticized as worthless. Go down. Remember, you can't be arrogant on the path of scientific research. You have to be cautious, cautious, and cautious. Next, the judge advised Lu Feidong again and looked at another person who was about to come over. Lu Feidong didn't say anything. He lowered his head and stood to the side. The other craftsmen also lowered their heads. They didn't know what it was just now, but the craftsmen from the Zhang family and Wang family knew more about it. Looking at their temperament, it was indeed different. He Zhizhang also heard it. He sighed and said, "No wonder the Zhang family and the Wang family make the best things." This kind of attitude is not something an ordinary person can have. Just like learning, one has to be cautious and cautious. One can't be arrogant. As the assistant minister of the Ministry of Works, Wei Shu felt the same way. When we go back, we have to have a good talk with the craftsmen. We have to have good ideas, but we can't forget to think about the specific application of the materials. We have to do it step by step to lay down a good foundation. One by one, the craftsmen came forward to be evaluated. When almost all of the craftsmen were done, there was still one craftsman who was still working. Seeing that the time was almost up, he still looked calm and unhurried. The 2 apprentices beside him also didn't show the slightest bit of anxiety. The 3 craftsmen made wooden birds with wings one by one. After a while, they threw them out. After throwing them out, if they were not satisfied, they would either fix them or remake them. Just when there was still a few minutes left and everyone was anxious for them, the craftsman finally put down his tools in satisfaction and took out the last bird he made. Although it was a bird, it didn't look like a bird. The 2 wings looked flat at first, but if one looked closely, they would find that there was a slight curve in the shape of a weiwei. The body was straight, and there was no hair on the tail. It was also a small wing, and there was a piece of wood on it. At the very front, there was an object made of 2 pieces of wood connected to the body by a wooden shaft. There were also 2 cow tendons. When the craftsmen from the Zhang family and Wang family saw this, they immediately stood up from their chairs and looked at each other nervously. Their eyes were full of suspicion, as if they were questioning, "Did you pass on the technology?" This thing had just been made by the young master and young lady, and it had only been flown by Xiaobei and the others in the inner courtyard. How did an outsider learn it? This craftsman didn't know. He thought that the judges were waiting anxiously and wanted to quickly look at the thing he made before going to eat. He straightened his clothes and walked while spinning the thing in his hand and winding it. When he got close to the judging table, he held the thing in his hand and closed the buckle. He said to the judging craftsmen from the Zhang family and Wang family, "This thing I made is called the burning firebird. As long as the tendons are twisted, when the buckle is loosened, it will fly out. The thing in front will rotate, and it will fly further and faster with the burning firebird. Even if there is wind, as long as the wind is not too strong, the deviation will be small. Moreover, if the wind comes from the front, it can make the burning firebird fly a little higher. When the thing in front rotates for a long time, or when the small thing in the back rotates for a long time, the phosphorus placed inside will burn. The burning firebird can carry fireworks. As long as you make thousands of burning firebirds and find a good wind direction, you can send the burning firebird to the enemy camp, either burning the tents or the provisions." "What's your name?" the judge who spoke to Lu Feidong just now asked. "Zhang Tianyu. I represent Su province in the competition." The craftsman, holding the work in his hand, respectfully answered. "How did you think of the thing in front that can rotate?" The judge asked again. "Bamboo dragonfly. I found that the bamboo dragonfly can fly because it rotates upwards. I first wanted to make a burning firebird that could fly upwards, but after making a few, I found that the strength of the ox tendon couldn't lift the burning firebird at all. Even if it was lighter, it would fall down immediately. Then I thought of the paper duck. When the wind blows, as long as there is a connecting line, the paper duck can fly continuously in the sky. I thought a way to make the burning firebird like the paper duck when the wind blows, flying higher and higher. In the end, the burning firebird was too heavy, so I could only add something like a bamboo dragonfly in front. Although it can't fly continuously in the sky, it can fly very far. It's a very good thing to use in battle. It's also not troublesome to make. Any carpenter can learn after looking at it a few times. After making a lot of them, even if a few fly off the mark, there's no need to be afraid." Zhang Tianyu explained his thoughts when making the burning firebird. He looked at the judges, hoping to give a high score. At this time, the judges didn't say anything. They looked at each other, and one of them left. After a while, he came back with a big box in his hand. Under everyone's gaze, he opened the box and took out the items one by one. The other judge helped to assemble the burning firebird. There were also 2 pieces in front that were connected to a shaft. They were made of ox tendon of better quality. The most important thing was that this thing was bigger. It was 4 feet long, and its wings were 6 feet wide. After assembling the burning firebird and placing it on the ground, the judges looked at Zhang Tianyu. Zhang Tianyu was dumbfounded. He had worked so hard to figure out this thing, but he didn't expect that other people already had it. He still had to give a 0. The surrounding people also felt sorry for Zhang Tianyu. At the same time, they were also a little dissatisfied with the Zhang family and Wang family. Since they were so powerful and could do anything, why did they still need to find craftsmen? Zhang Tianyu, right? Full marks. If there's nothing else, you can take the ship from Beijing to Luoyang tomorrow. After that, you can transfer to Buxing County. Little Master and Little Miss will happily wait for your arrival." The leading judge nodded at Zhang Tianyu and said, "What? Full marks? But didn't you guys already make it?" Zhang Tianyu asked in disbelief. His 2 disciples also didn't have the calm expression from before. "What we made is what we made, and what you made is yours. What we care about is not the quality of the thing you made, but the thought process when making this thing." Craftsmanship can be practiced, but not everyone has the thought process when making this thing. I hope that in the future we can jointly make better things. Go, find Little Master and Little Miss, and you will see even more good things. The judge sincerely congratulated Zhang Tianyu. Zhang Tianyu suspected that he was dreaming. He looked at the judge, then looked at his 2 disciples, and then looked at the people around him who were also happy for him. He was so excited that he couldn't say a word. His hands were tightly clenched into fists. The emperor has decreed that Zhang Tianyu will be registered in the Ministry of Works as a supervisor of military equipment. He will be rewarded 100,000 yuan and 50 bolts of silk. Go to Bushing County's deputy county magistrate and the registrar to receive it. At this time, Gao Lishir loudly shouted to the people below the stage. He shouted 3 times in a row. When he was sure that the people below heard it, he stopped and turned his head away in embarrassment. The emperor was really too AI. He even wanted Xiao Bao and Cuckoo to pay for the rewards. He was working for the 2 of them, but he couldn't do this. The judges all curled their lips at the same time. 100 strings of silk and 50 bolts of silk were not a lot. How could the emperor be stingy to this extent? When Little Master and Little Miss found out, they would scold him again. Zhang Tianyu didn't know who paid for the money in the end. When he heard that he was an official and was rewarded by the emperor, he forcefully pinched his thigh. He suddenly knelt on the ground and cried loudly. He cried as if he had been wronged. As he cried, he said, "Who said that I can't be an official? Who said that the things I studied were useless? I want to go back. I want to go back to Shuzhou and see if they will let me return to the sect." After muttering for a long time, he finally remembered to thank the emperor. After thanking him, he worriedly asked the judge, "Will there be a ship to Luoyang tomorrow?" "Yes, there will be one when you get there. The ship association will give you one. When you arrive at Bushing County, you have to clearly report your place of origin. Naturally, someone will go and check. As for the specifics, you will know when you get there." The judge put away Zhang Qinyo's small plane and had someone take the big plane to see Gao Lishir. This was specially sent for Gao Lishir to play with. He wanted to let him see how to fly and keep it as a souvenir. The surrounding commoners cheered for Zhang Tianyu. At the same time, they didn't forget to praise the Zhang family and Wang family. As expected, they weren't biased and acted fairly. The craftsmen also heaved a sigh of relief. They didn't have to worry about cheating in other competitions. After everyone was happy for a while, it was time to eat. Li Longji also walked down the stairs. As he walked, he said to Gao Lishir, "When we go back, take a look at this plane and make it bigger. I reckon that it won't be a problem for people to fly on it. I also sent a talent to Xiao Bao and Cuckoo. Don't you think that they should accept this kindness?" Yes, they should. Gao Lishir naturally followed along. As for what he was thinking in his heart, no one knew. He looked at the big plane again. "Your Majesty, this subject guesses that even if this plane is made bigger, it won't be able to fly. How many ox tendons would it take? How long would it be able to fly for? Perhaps there is another way." "Oh, there is always a way. Let's go to Savant's restaurant to eat." Li Longji came out once and didn't want to go back immediately. Thus, he went to Savant's restaurant to eat. The food there was no worse than the food in the palace. Perhaps there would be new dishes. Those who were looking for a place to eat did so. Those who were willing to sell snacks waited for the competition in the afternoon. When most of the people had left, Lu Feidong lowered his head and walked towards Savant's restaurant alone. He didn't want to go to Savant's restaurant in a fit of pique, but he didn't have any money on him. Since his uncle wasn't in the capital, he could only go to his own restaurant to fill his stomach. As he walked, he muttered, 6 points, just give me 6 points. If they have good skills, they won't teach me. They even said that I'm part of the Zhang family and Wang family. They must be doing this on purpose. Sigh. I didn't expect that the Zhang family and Wang family would actually oppress their own people. What a pity, what a pity. Just as Lu Feidong was muttering to himself, a person beside him, who seemed to be going the same way as him, also sighed and spoke up for him. Lu Feidong heard the voice and turned his head. He didn't know who it was. That person didn't look at him and continued walking with his head down. Seeing that he didn't know who it was, Lu Feidong continued walking. That person started talking again. If it were my family, I wouldn't deliberately oppress my own people. I would teach him the best skills and let him show off in front of everyone. What a pity, what a pity. Many people are deceived by the name of the Zhang family and Wang family. Lu Feidong still didn't reply and walked faster. That person finally raised his head and said as if he had just seen Lu Feidong, "Isn't this Brother Lu? I didn't expect to meet you while walking." "You are?" Lu Feidong was puzzled and asked curiously. Who I am is not important. What's important is that I feel wrong for Brother Lu. You are part of their family. Why would they deliberately give you 6 points just to put on a show for others? That's too much of a bully. Too much of a bully. Brother Lu, don't take it to heart. Today it's my treat. There's a shop nearby. The duck there is not bad. It's roasted and cut into pieces. There's some skin, some fat, and some lean. Put some sauce on it and eat it. That taste, TSK. Let's go and eat it. It's my treat. As the person spoke, he pulled Lu Feidong. Isn't it just roast duck? I'm not going. I'm going back to Savant's restaurant. There's also wine and food there. Why don't I treat you? Lu Feidong didn't plan to go with others. This person had a helpless expression and said, "You still want to go back to Savant's restaurant? Do you want everyone to laugh at you? The waiters there must know about what happened today. Tell me, what will they think of you? Then I have to eat roast duck? Fine, I'm not going back to Savant's restaurant. I'm going to eat roast duck." Lu Feidong suddenly changed his mind and followed this person to the nearby roast duck shop. When the two of them arrived outside the shop, there were already many people waiting in line. "Brother Lu, I'm a student of the 4 Seas Academy. My surname is Jiang. My name is Jiang Yang. I just arrived yesterday and ate at this big mountain roast duck shop once. The taste was extraordinary. Brother Lu hasn't eaten here before, right?" The person who pulled Lu Feidong over also lined up and talked to Lu Feidong with nothing to do. Shaking his head, Lu Feidong replied, "I haven't eaten here before. How can it be better than Savant's restaurant? It's not the same. Savant's restaurant doesn't sell roast ducks. Each has its own strengths," the person who called himself Jiang Yang commented. Lu Feidong didn't say anything this time. He followed behind the line and moved forward bit by bit. The ducks in the shop were served very quickly. Some people wrapped the ducks in oil paper and walked back to eat, while others waited for others to finish eating before sitting in the shop to eat. Seeing that he didn't say anything, Jiang Yang said to him, "Brother Lu, are you afraid that I will harm others?" Lu Feidong's eyes looked at the waiters who were wrapping ducks for others. He suddenly shook his head and felt that something was wrong. He nodded at Jiang Yang and said very honestly, "I don't know you. I only drank a little wine." Since Brother Lu shook his head first, it means that you aren't afraid. Are you worried that the Zhang family and Wang family will find you and think that you are casually interacting with outsiders and leaking secrets? To be honest, I don't think that Brother Lu can learn real skills. Even if they are leaked, it won't be a big deal. Jiang Yang observed very carefully. When he saw Lu Feidong shake his head first, he thought that he was not worried about interacting with strangers. As he spoke, he stared into Lu Feidong's eyes and revealed an expression that said that he didn't believe that Lu Feidong could learn real skills. Who said that? I learned. Yes, I didn't learn real skills. Lu Feidong was about to refute angrily when he suddenly lowered his head and admitted it. Jiang Yang rolled his eyes and said with a smile, "As expected, I was right. Actually, with Brother Lu's ability, even if you are not in the Zhang family and Wang family, it won't be a big deal. Maybe you will become even more powerful in the future. Let's not talk about it anymore. Let's eat. There are more than 10 people in front of us." When he said that he wouldn't talk about it, Lu Feidong really stopped talking. After waiting in line for a while, it was finally their turn. After asking around, they found that there were no seats on the first floor, but there were seats on the second floor. But the price was expensive. Jiang Yang didn't seem to care about money. He pulled Lu Feidong upstairs. As they walked, the rooms on the side were all taken. Finally, they came to a room with the best location. The waiter flipped the sign that said "Occupied" and changed it to "Empty." He then brought the two of them in and flipped the sign back to "Occupied." Jiang Yang looked at the waiter in puzzlement. In the end, he smiled and asked, "How much do you want?" "Sir, you can decide." The waiter seemed to have been seen through. He blinked his eyes like a mouse. He took out a small string of coins, which should be 100 copper coins, and threw it to the waiter. Then Jiang Yang said to the waiter, "Bring up the best wine and duck's signature dish." The waiter left happily. Jiang Yang invited Lu Feidong to sit in front of him and open the window to look downstairs. He said, "It's better to be high up. It's bright and spacious. What do you think, Brother Lu?" Ran, I said that you'd treat me. I didn't bring any money. If you don't have money, why don't we go to Savant's restaurant? I don't need to spend money there. Lu Feidong seemed to be a little nervous. He first told Jiang Yang that he didn't have money. "Brother Lu, with your skills, do you really lack money? They don't have a single copper coin on them. They shouldn't do this." I'm not lying to Brother Lu. If Brother Lu wanted to go to another place, there would be many people waiting on you. How could you be like this? What a pity, what a pity. If you just leave it here. You don't have to come back if you don't tell me. As they were talking, the waiter came in with food. A few cold dishes made with duck and warm wine were placed on the table. The waiter turned around and left. "Brother Lu, try the wine here. It's different from the wine between the clouds and the water. It has a different taste. Try the duck head." Jiang Yang began to pour wine and pick up food for him. Lu Feidong couldn't do it either. He ate and nodded. When the waiter served him wine, he drank it. When the waiter served him food, he ate it. Jiang Yang looked down from time to time and kept toasting him. However, he was a little absent-minded when he ate. As he ate, Lu Feidong's eyes started to blur. He looked at the people coming and going below in a daze. He also started to talk to Jiang Yang. "It's all my uncle's fault. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't have been able to enter the Zhang family. He said that he wanted me to learn some useful skills, so I went. In the end, they didn't teach me any skills. They just made me memorize the books they wrote. I memorized them, but I didn't know what they meant. When my uncle asked me, I memorized a part of the book for him. He was very happy. In fact, he didn't know that the Zhang family never really taught me anything. Let me count. How many books did I learn? 5. No, it should be 6 books. If not, it should be 7 books. I can only know how many books I memorized from the beginning. Tell me, with someone like me, how could they possibly teach me their true skills? I heard that they had 10 books, but they wouldn't tell me the other 3 books no matter what, insisting that I learn the first 7 books. I don't believe their lies. What do you mean by learning the first 5 books? The other craftsmen of the great Tang can't compare to you. Look at me. I've already learned the first 7 books, but didn't I get 6 points? This time, Lu Feidong started to take the initiative to pour wine for Jiang Yang. As long as Jiang Yang's cup was empty, he would pour it. When it was his turn, he would drink 1 cup after another. When he finished, he would pour the wine again. When Jiang Yang heard Lu Feidong's words, he swallowed his saliva and whispered, "Brother Lu, I think you don't need to continue learning from the Zhang family and Wang family. You can go elsewhere to teach people. As long as you say that you learned from the Zhang family and Wang family, people will be willing to believe you even if it's a lie. Brother Lu, I also want to know what they teach. If Brother Lu can still remember it, why don't you recite it for me?" "Recite it? No, I can't recite it. What's that horse down there? Why does it have 2 heads? I'll go take a look. You sit here." Lu Feidong looked down and suddenly pointed at a horse that was pulling a carriage. "Brother Lu, you drank too much. Don't drink anymore. Why can't you recite it? Did you not memorize it?" Jiang Yang poured more wine for Lu Feidong. "I didn't drink too much. It's just that my eyes are playing tricks on me. Who said that we memorized it? It's just that there are too many books. I can't recite them all. I studied for many years and only learned 7 books. Those books are so thick. I'm so tired. One of my heads is missing. Come, drink." Lu Feidong shook his head vigorously. He raised his cup and downed the wine. He took off his shirt and was shirtless. He was sweating all over. He put down the empty cup and hummed a tune. Jiang Yang continued to pour wine. "Brother Lu, why don't you let me listen to it when you have time? Since there isn't enough time, why don't you recite the 7th book first, so that I can broaden my horizons?" "The 7th book? What's the 7th book again?" "I've been memorizing it since the first book. Let me tell you, the first book, the first volume, the first chapter, the way of smelting. Every smelter should know how to control the heat and understand how to be flexible. First of all, turning iron into steel. Aya, whose family is that little girl? Why is she so fat? She even swayed when she walked. Lu Feidong started to recite from the first book. After reciting a few sentences, he pointed at a woman who just got out of the carriage and said, "Brother Lu, don't worry about her. We'll carry our own things." Jiang Yang couldn't tell that the woman was fat, let alone swaying. He closed the window beside Lu Feidong and let him continue to carry her. When he sat down, he saw someone downstairs making a gesture to him. He could only sigh regretfully and say, "Brother Lu, I'm so happy today that I forgot to do something important. Why don't we drink another day? I'll leave first. Here's the money for the wine and dishes." Jiang Yang took out 2 pieces of silver worth about 3 coins and stood up to leave. Lu Feidong was still behind him. "Take care. Look at how swaying you are. You must have drunk too much." Jiang Yang quickly agreed and left in a hurry. As soon as he left, the waiter came in and said to Lu Feidong, "Do you want some hangover soup?" "No, I used to be a blacksmith. This little bit of wine is nothing. Did you send someone to follow him? This is the money he left." Lu Feidong opened the window again, picked up the wine, and took a sip. The waiter looked at the money and said, "It's not even enough. The wine is expensive. Do you want to pay for it or the other one?" "Of course I want to pay for the other one. I don't have money. Is Dashin in the shop? What is he busy with? If not, I'll go find him to drink. This time, I'll let him have it." Lu Feidong put away the 2 pieces of silver on the table and asked the waiter. The waiter was going to get the money, but seeing that Lu Feidong had taken it, he gave up and replied, "He's right next door. He's afraid that you won't be able to handle him if he suddenly does something bad. So he brought 2 people with him. If something really happens, he'll come over. Go find him yourself. You know it's from your shop, but you still eat it. Look at the duck head. You dare to sell it without biting it? I'll go find Dashin. You take your time to clean it up. I'm drunk, I won't help you." Lu Feidong picked up the remaining half of the wine jar and went to the room next door, leaving the waiter to work alone. He muttered, "You're bullying me. I'm just a little short of stars." When Lu Feidong came over, Zhang Dashin and the other 2 people had already sat down at the table and started eating. Just now, they had been very worried. It was supposed to be lunchtime, but the waiter outside saw Lu Feidong and another person coming to line up. The waiter asked with his eyes if he wanted to come up directly. At that time, Lu Feidong shook his head. The waiter immediately realized that something was wrong and quickly came to report. Under surveillance, he led them all the way to the reserved room on the 2nd floor. Otherwise, Jiang Yang would be dreaming if he wanted to get a seat. When Zhang Dashin saw Lu Feidong come in, he congratulated him. "Congratulations, today's meal is on you. Didn't you bring 2 pieces of silver with you? It's just enough." "No, I'll keep it. I have to bring some money with me. This time, he happened to choose your shop. If he changes places, what should I do? I think this person has big plans. Don't lose him." Lu Feidong touched the place where he kept the silver. "How can that be? We've infiltrated most of the people in the capital. Even if we don't own the shop, we should have our people in the shop. It's just a spy battle. The young master and the young lady have already arranged it. In the capital, except for the palace, who else can escape?" Zhang Dashin took half a jar of wine and put it on the table. He usually couldn't bear to drink this wine. Of course, it was different from the wine sold at Savant's restaurant. The craftsmanship was also different. Savant's restaurant and Between the Clouds and the water sold sauce-flavored and distilled spirits and fruit wines. This was the full-flavor type. He came to sell roast duck to avoid suspicion. The young master had specially prepared a recipe for him. Half a jar was not a small amount, and he could drink as much as he could. He poured a bowl for himself and took 2 big gulps. Zhang Dashin said to Lu Feidong, "When you go back, you can participate in other design and production projects. Congratulations on passing the organization's test. Drink your wine. Even if this didn't happen, I would still participate when I go back. My uncle is no longer an official in the Ministry of Works, so naturally, there is one less layer of concern. Do you still need me to continue to interact with the other party and teach them the contents of the 7 books? Lu Feidong laughed. There were no 7 books. There were only 2. One was called physics and the other was called chemistry. As for the other derived books, he had to do his own research. He could only ask others when he didn't understand them. After drinking the rest of the wine in the bowl, Zhang Dashan exhaled comfortably and said, "There is no need. Someone will take over the rest. We don't need to use too many tricks to deal with them. It's just the 4 C's Academy. When we first established this academy, we thought that this day would come. Give me a bowl of noodle soup. I still have to continue participating in the competition in the afternoon. I can't go hungry. The chef can't handle it. So he ordered a bowl from our other shop. Oh, I'm hungry." Lu Feidong suddenly felt sorry for Jiang Yang. He wanted to drive a wedge between the Zhang family and the Wang family. Only he could think of such a thing. The unity between the Zhang family and the Wang family was not guaranteed by money or skills. There was a faint but strong connection between them, just like the canned food that was specially made for the inner courtyard. They didn't expect to achieve much outside, just take care of themselves. Jiang Yang, who felt that he had tricked someone, looked around vigilantly as soon as he left the Dashan roast duck restaurant. He stopped an empty carriage that happened to be coming, entered the carriage, and said to the coachman, "Let's go out of the city." The coachman didn't ask for the specific location and drove the carriage in the direction of the Chung Gate. But before they could walk out of the gate, Jiang Yang said to the coachman, "Stop the carriage. Get off here." After getting out of the carriage, Jiang Yang threw 3 copper coins to the coachman and slipped into an alley. He went straight through it to another road, stopped another carriage, and ordered, "Go to the west gate." After more than 2 hours, Jiang Yang finally arrived at a field outside the south gate. He had changed his clothes. He didn't look like a scholar, a farmer, or a businessman. In any case, he just gave people the feeling that he was a little awkward. There were few pedestrians on the road. Occasionally, a few would pass by, but they just glanced at him casually and didn't pay attention to him anymore. If it weren't for the peddler behind him, who was carrying a pole and hawking all the way, it would be even quieter. Finally, the peddler was stopped by others. Jiang Yang seemed to have no purpose. He walked alone to a small river beside the field. There was a man wearing a bamboo hat fishing by the river. Jiang Yang came to the side and looked at the fish in the basket. He said casually, "It's not easy to catch. How long have you been fishing? You've only caught 3 fish, and they're so small." "That depends on what kind of fish they are. Ordinary fish are worthless even if they're big. Although the fish in the basket are small, they're very good. You should be satisfied with 3. Didn't you bring a fishing rod? Why don't I lend you one?" The fisherman said to Jiang Yang without turning his head. Jiang Yang took out a ball of string and a few hooks from his bosom. He broke off a branch from a nearby tree and casually tied it to a float before throwing it into the water. After a while, he saw the float move. He lifted the branch and caught a small fish. Only then did he say, "Brotherly, you've been waiting for a long time." He said, "I was about to catch a big fish, but someone asked me because he didn't know how to fish. So I can only keep the big fish for now. I wonder where the fish are not easy to catch? Where else? Of course it's the fish in the Serenade temple. There are only farms and the fish are abandoned. The people below don't know why the radishes by the pond are planted there. They're obviously not good, but they don't sell them." The fisherman pulled back the hook and put the bait again. He then said to Jiang Yang, "Not selling? Is the price too low? Those radishes are not good radishes. Is 1 kilogram of radish seeds cheap for 10 coins? 1 small radish is worth 3 coins, isn't it?" Jiang Yang didn't believe that someone wouldn't be tempted by such a price. He stopped and asked. The fisherman put the hook in again. "It's not about the money. It's that no one is selling them. The people in the Serenade temple don't know anything. They only said that all the radish seeds and radishes are under the charge of the Shaoqing. They haven't contacted the Shaoqing Jiang Sin yet. Why is that? If it doesn't work, I'll go and take a look. I don't believe that I can't catch any fish." Jiang Yang couldn't figure it out. Logically speaking, the people in the capital should have done this long ago. A radish was not worth much. Why did it take so much effort? That's not necessary. Before you came, a person who also liked to fish just left. He said that he would think of a way. The fisherman replied. Then why did you call me here? I'm about to get some useful technology. Sigh. Why is it so awkward to do things the moment you enter the capital? Jiang Yang complained. He didn't have the mood to fish anymore. He threw away the branch in his hand and sat there sulking. After all, the capital is different from other places. If everything is done according to us, would it still be the capital? Not to mention the capital, even in Buixin County, would it be comfortable to do things? The fisherman caught another fish and put it in the basket. After saying this, he put away the tools, picked up the basket, and left without looking back. Jiang Yang picked up a stone and threw it into the water angrily. He scolded, a bunch of incompetent people. They even delayed my business. The sky was so blue, the clouds were so white, and the wind was so gentle. Walking on the road, it felt like the whole world was alive. Jiang Xin had a good time recently. After coming back that day, he asked people to collect all the failed radish seeds and didn't allow anyone to take away any radish that was still planted in the field. The people in the Sinongxi temple didn't know the reason, but they all knew that the Sinongxi temple was no longer the Sinongxi temple of the past. The person who could really make decisions was not the Shaoqing, nor was it the people of the various departments. Even the people of the Ministry of Revenue couldn't do anything. If they wanted to do something, they had to get the consent of others first. This others was Zhang Zhong. After all the things were sent by him. The Shaoqing was called by the emperor once, and when he came back, he issued an order. It seemed that it had something to do with the people on the other side. If they didn't want to touch the radish, they wouldn't touch it. Anyway, the radish was not a good thing. The people in the Sinongxi temple thought so, but who knew that in the past few days, some people came to them one after another and offered them a very high price. If Jiang Xin hadn't issued an order, they could have sold the radish to themselves or to the Sinongxi temple to make more money and reduce the loss. But now that there was an order, they couldn't touch the radish. Even if the price had been raised to 10 copper coins per caddy, they couldn't touch the radish for 3 copper coins. Otherwise, it was very likely that they would be caught for secretly selling something. When that time came, it would be difficult to deal with the emperor. It was precisely because he saw that his subordinates were so obedient that Jiang Xin's mood was very good. He had already heard of the price that others offered, but it was still too little compared to the price that he wanted to sell the radish for, and the price that the Zhang family and Wang family wanted to sell it for. How could the seeds be sold by caddy? It had to be sold by the grain. As for the radish, the price that was offered was really too low. Others didn't know, but he knew very well that this was a good thing to use as ginseng. Ginseng, not to mention 100-year-old ginseng. How much would an ordinary 6- or 7-year-old ginseng cost? Pharmacies sold it in slices, and one slice cost several copper coins. Although it was impossible for this radish to become ginseng, it was Xiao Bao's great ability that made people believe him. He reckoned that the people who came to buy radishes and seeds from his subordinates this time were people from the Four Seas Academy. To be precise, they were Japanese. He definitely couldn't sell them. He would only sell them when the price was set by Xiao Bao, or when it was higher. Thinking like this, Jiang Xin prepared to go to the East Market to watch the craftsman competition in the afternoon. It was very interesting. He had watched it in the morning, and saw that the people from the Zhang family and Wang family did things fairly. He also saw a lucky person being recruited by the Zhang family and Wang family before all the competitions were completed. There were also all kinds of strange things. He didn't know what kind of situation would appear in the competition in the afternoon. "Master, don't you have to work in the afternoon?" Jiang Xin was followed by a servant sent by his family. Normally speaking, the servant had to wait patiently outside the Sinong temple and wait until everyone else had returned home before the master could appear. He didn't expect that he didn't have to stay so long starting from this morning. The master insisted on coming out for a stroll. Could it be that there was no work in the Serenade temple now? Did the master just become idle? With such doubts, and also afraid that the master wouldn't work, Jiang Xin's servant asked Jiang Xin, "What do you know?" "I am working right now. If I do well, the Serenade temple won't lack money for the next 10 years. And at least 5 years. The main thing is to see what kind of new experiments there are." Jiang Xin really wasn't in a hurry now. For the sake of the big money in the future, he would first stop working. Chapter 699. The two of them talked as they walked. However, before they reached the competition venue in Dong City, the two of them were stopped by someone. "Are you Minister Jiang of the Sea Agriculture Temple?" the person asked respectfully. Jiang Xin didn't care if other people were respectful or not. He was the Shaoqing, so he couldn't just talk to anyone who blocked his way. He didn't say anything and continued to walk forward. The servant beside him looked at the person blocking his way with dissatisfaction and asked, "What's the matter? What are you doing? This is an important place in the capital. You have to think carefully about what you want to do. My master doesn't have time to talk to you. I know this is the capital. I don't want to do anything. I just came to give you money." Seeing Jiang Xin go around, the person in front of him didn't dare to stop him again. He just followed him and said with a smile. Jiang Xin's servant didn't know the situation and thought that someone wanted to bribe his master in public. He quickly pushed the person aside and said, "My master doesn't accept any bribes and has nothing to give you. Hurry up and leave or I'll call someone." Unexpectedly, Jiang Xin stopped and turned around to ask, "How do you want to give me money? How much? What do you want?" Seeing that Jiang Xin didn't continue to walk, the person finally let out a sigh of relief and said, 5,000 strings of coins. As long as Minister Jiang can give me the recently planted radishes and the seeds used to plant them, 5,000 strings of coins will be yours." 5,000 strings of coins? That's a lot. Unfortunately, I'm afraid I won't have the life to spend it. The seeds and radishes belong to the Sea Agriculture Temple, not me. How can I give them to you? Hearing the price, Jiang Xin was very dissatisfied. It was too little. There were so many seeds and so many radishes. The loss this time was more than 5,000 strings of coins. Others didn't know who came to buy radishes and seeds, but he didn't know. It was a country behind it. It was impossible to give such a small amount of money. Hearing Jiang Xin's refusal, the person didn't seem to give up. He said, "Can't the Sea Agriculture Temple make the decision? You're the minister of the Sea Agriculture Temple. You have the final say in the Sea Agriculture Temple. Is there anyone who is not better than you?" If Jiang Xin hadn't received specific information and orders, she might have sold the worthless items on impulse. However, it was impossible for her to do so now. After staring at the man for a while, Jiang Xin smiled and said, "The Sinongxi Temple doesn't belong to me alone. I can't make the decision. Why don't you go and talk to His Majesty? As long as His Majesty gives the order, even if you don't take out a single copper coin, I'll give you everything." That's right. Don't even think about getting any benefits from my master. My master is not the kind of corrupt official you think he is. If you want something, go find someone else. Jiang Xin's servant didn't know why someone would take the initiative to look for his master, but he had to speak up for him. As for whether or not he was a corrupt official, he knew clearly in his heart, but he couldn't say it out loud right now. When the person heard the other party's refusal, he had no choice but to continue increasing the price. "Lord Jiang, let's talk things over. 7,000 strings of cash. I can't go any higher. After all, that radish is bitter and small. It's really not worth this price. I'm buying it to use elsewhere. It's already not bad if I can earn 1,000 strings of cash." "Oh, you're going to lose? Then I advise you not to buy it. I just don't want to see others lose because of me. I won't sell it. For you, I won't sell it." Jiang Xin didn't buy it at all. "I was joking just now. In fact, it's not that I can only earn 1,000 strings of cash. If you sell it to me, I can actually earn 4,000 strings of cash. How about this? I'll give you 8 strings of cash first. If I earn more than 3,000 strings of cash, the rest of the money will be yours. What do you think?" The person immediately came up with an idea. He didn't feel that he gave people the impression that he was changing back and forth. He should have practiced it. Jiang Tsin's servant looked at the person in disbelief, then looked at his master. Seeing that his master still had that calm expression, he didn't know what to say for a moment. Jiang Tsin naturally couldn't agree to such a price. If he really sold it, he would easily die without a burial place. Not to mention the Zhang family and Wang family. The emperor wouldn't spare him. After hearing what the person said, he didn't even want to talk and directly walked to the destination. The person followed closely behind. "Master, master, if there's anything we can discuss, why don't you say a price? As long as I can take it out, I'm willing." "Really?" Jiang Tsin stopped again and asked. "Really?" The person nodded. "Okay, the radish seeds are worth 100 strings of cash. The radishes that haven't been dug out are worth 400 strings of cash. Are you willing? If you are willing, give me the money. I'll have someone send the seeds and radishes to you. If you aren't willing, then forget it." Jiang Tsin doubled the price set by Zhang Xiaobao, asking for a sky-high price. He was waiting for the other party to sit on the ground and pay back the money. This time, not only was the person surprised, even Jiang Tsin's servant showed an expression of disbelief. He really wanted to use his hand to touch his master's forehead to see if he was sick. If he was hot, he should quickly go to the palace to find a doctor. If the palace couldn't treat him, he could rush to Dei Hospital. It seemed that it was a slow illness. If it was a fast illness, the palace could control it. "Master, you must be joking, right?" The person asked Jiang Tsin with an ugly expression. "Then why are you still talking to me? With this price, I still haven't asked what you're doing. You dare to speak to me like this?" Jiang Tsin's expression also darkened. He looked at the person without blinking. The person's expression changed several times. In the end, he didn't dare to look at Jiang Xian. After hesitating, he said, "Master, do you know how much money that is? Money moves people's hearts. Not to mention that much money. Even if it was half, no one would be willing to take it out. Besides, I don't have that kind of money. Master, you may feel that it is a rare opportunity to ask for more money, but many people, such as the Prime Minister and the Minister, may feel that 10 or 20,000 strings of cash is already a lot. Master, you must think carefully." This was a threat, a blatant threat. The meaning was to tell Jiang Tsin that if he didn't agree, he would take out 20,000 strings of cash and directly bribe his superiors. When the time came, he would get what he wanted. Not only would he not benefit at all, he would also easily lose his position. This time, Jiang Tsin didn't leave and didn't make a sound. He stood there with his head lowered and looked at his shoes as if there was something strange on them. His servants nervously protected him and glared at the person. The person revealed a trace of a smile at the corner of his mouth, thinking that his words had touched Jiang Tsin's heart. Just as he was waiting for Jiang Tsin to comply, Jiang Tsin raised his head and sighed. "There's no need to find the Prime Minister or Minister. The Emperor is also in front. How about I take you to see the Emperor? You can talk to him. If the Emperor listens to you, I will immediately retire and return to my hometown. It just so happens that I can live a peaceful life. Although I am still young, I am already tired of officialdom. Thank you very much." After saying this, Jiang Tsin walked forward with large strides. His servants followed closely behind, leaving the person who suddenly appeared stunned. He didn't know what to do. He naturally didn't dare to see the emperor. Otherwise, no matter what, he wouldn't have a good life. Even if he didn't die, he would be skinned alive. Looking at the two people walking away, the person gritted his teeth and chased after them. He ran to Jiang Tsin's side and said again, "Darren, the price you gave is really too high. Can you lower it? Go find the minister or the prime minister. Don't talk to me. My position is small and I'm afraid." Jiang Tsin didn't relent at all. The servant next to him pushed the person with all his strength. "If you come looking for trouble again, I'll beat you to death. Is my Darren someone you can casually threaten? You're courting death." This time, It wasn't as simple as being pushed by Jiangxin's servant. There were also people patrolling nearby. When they saw someone arguing, they immediately rushed over. When they saw Jiangxin, they recognized him and didn't recognize the other person. They immediately asked, "Who are you? Daring to offend an official of the imperial court? Men, come and arrest him." "It's a misunderstanding, a misunderstanding. I didn't offend him. I just met him and casually said a few words." The person wanted to leave, explaining as he retreated, "Arrest this official. He actually dared to bribe this official. When the bribe failed, he even threatened me. He said that the minister and prime minister were bribed. Bring them back and interrogate them severely." At this time, Jiangxin spoke. The patrolling people rushed up and pressed the person to the ground. They tied him up firmly with rope and brought him back. "I'm innocent, innocent. I didn't say anything, I didn't say anything." The person didn't dare to struggle, but shouted loudly, attracting the attention of many people. Seeing that there were more people, he said, "I'm from Japan. The great Tang can't do this." He thought that if he revealed his identity, the surrounding people would want to save face and use a haughty attitude to ask for him to be released. After all, bullying someone from another country was too shameful for the great Tang, who knew that it would have been better if he didn't shout. After he shouted, the people fell silent and looked at him as if they were looking at a monkey. The status of the great Tang was very high. How could the people look up to people from other places? When people from other places came, the people didn't take the initiative to provoke them because they looked down on them. Now that someone had committed a crime, they just wanted to watch the show. When the patrolling guards escorted the man who claimed to be an outsider out, Jiangxin moved closer to him and whispered, "This official hates being threatened the most. Go in and enjoy yourself. When someone comes to see you, remember to tell him not to speak like you do in front of this official." After saying this, Jiangxin happily left with the servant. The person was dragged to the yamen. As for what kind of treatment he would receive, it was hard to say. After Jiangxin took care of the person, he felt that if someone came to look for him in the future, he would be more proactive in negotiating the price. He shook his head happily and recited a poem from time to time. His servant still didn't understand what was going on. What he did just now was just a servant's duty. After thinking for a while, he plucked up his courage and asked, "Master, can you tell me why those small and bitter radishes are sold at such a high price? Those who know it is a radish, but those who don't know it will think that it is a cheap ginseng. Why is it bitter? Didn't you eat the fish I made for you a few days ago? I added this kind of radish to the fish. It is the recipe of the savant's restaurant." Jiangxin was in a good mood and said a few more words to his servant. The servant nodded. "Yes, it is delicious. So that's the reason. But it can't be sold at the price you said. Do you think I want to sell it at such a high price? It is the emperor's order. Don't ask. You will know later. Hurry up or you will miss it." Jiangxin really wanted to talk to his servant, but he couldn't. Not to mention his family. Even the other officials in the Sea Agriculture Temple didn't know why. They had to keep a secret. Whether they could make money depended on this competition. The first day of the craftsman competition passed in a lively atmosphere. Some people were happy, while others suffered in prison. At noon the next day, the craftsmen in the competition and the onlookers continued to eat and rest. Jiangxin didn't come out today. He stayed in the Sea Agriculture Temple and held a meeting with the officials. The first point was to emphasize that in the current situation, they couldn't relax the research and development of agricultural products. The second point was about grasping the vegetable basket and the rice bag together. The third point was to increase the output of agricultural products in a reasonable and scientific way. They should go deep into the grassroots and improve their consciousness. They should continue to perfect the theoretical basis and deepen their understanding in the middle school stage of the Kaiyuan age. The first 3 points were nonsense and didn't have any practical effect. The fourth point was the most important one, which was to follow the special construction of the Kaiyuan age. According to the emperor's ideology and theory, a caddy of radish should be sold at the price. They couldn't relax even a single seed. The officials of the Serenade temple understood, and thereupon they began a heated discussion about the historical role of the bitter, astringent, and small new radish in the current situation. Each and every one of them had a deep understanding of the impact the radish, this crop had on the entire society, understood the emperor's thinking spirit, and continued to carry forward on this foundation. They firmly stood on the side of the emperor's ideology and theory, the assistant minister of the Sea Agriculture Temple as the foundation, and the steady development of the Sea Agriculture Temple. They didn't embezzle, didn't accept bribes, didn't fear the enemy's threats, and could distinguish sugar-coated fireworks. They should be on guard against the impact of foreign capital on the country's agriculture. When they had nothing to do, they should hide at home and not let others find them. Even if others found them and offered them a lot of money, they would never compromise for their family and their lives. Oh no, for the Tang Empire, for the prosperity of the world. In a harmonious atmosphere, Jiangxin finished the meeting. Then, everyone went to the top of the third floor of the savant's restaurant to eat together. They ate very frugally. As long as they hadn't reached level 1, they would eat 4 dishes and 1 soup, according to the number of people. They didn't eat expensive venison, nor did they eat beef or mutton. They only ate cheap fish, the kind in the sea, abalone, and shark fins. The soup was turtle soup. They didn't drink highly distilled wine, so as not to affect their work. They only drank low-alcohol wine. During the meal, the people in the Sea Agriculture Temple learned the importance of hard work and simplicity. They were very happy, and their awareness was also improved. They took the wood ear and went home. No one mentioned the radish again. Everything was decided by the assistant minister. 3 days later, the craftsman's competition was still going on. The Japanese who stopped Jiangxin on the street that day was released in a trance. He met Yamamoto, who was supposed to deal with Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan in Wuxing County. Yamamoto, can't you save us some trouble? This time, we spent 2,000 strings of cash to save you. We didn't get the money for nothing. Yamamoto said to the person who was released in disappointment. Hey, what else could Yamamoto say? In fact, he didn't do anything, but he was arrested. The most important thing was that he didn't fulfill the instructions of others. Go back to Wuxing County immediately and watch the others. Don't let them act rashly. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan are not easy to deal with. Yamamoto was really unwilling to enter the capital. A few days ago, he heard that the progress here was very bad, so he came by boat. He didn't expect that as soon as he arrived in the capital, the first news he received was that Yamamoto was arrested. After asking for the reason, he fiercely scolded Yamamoto in his heart. How could it be good to go against an official? What's more, he was not a small official. It was obvious that he was looking for trouble, and he even threatened him. Now, the threat was not successful, and he even spent a lot of money. Hey, Yamamoto still answered very respectfully. He really couldn't say anything. As for grievances and misunderstandings, it was useless. Everyone looked at the result, and the process was the matter of the person who did it. Yamamoto found a boat and left. Yamamoto planned to personally take away all the radishes here and plant them into ginseng. The price of ginseng and radishes were not the same. Moreover, even if they were not sold back to Tang, they were very useful in China. Therefore, on the second day after Yamamoto was released, Yamamoto, who thought that he had learned a lot of economic warfare skills, began his plan. For a time, a rumor spread in various restaurants and tea houses in the capital. That was, after spending a lot of money, the radishes cultivated by the Senongsi were bitter and small, and if eaten too much, they would be poisoned. The speed of the rumor was very fast. It didn't take long for the whole capital to know. Of course, the common people didn't dare to say that they had kicked someone off the stage, but the voices of the discussion were very loud. It was so loud that Li Longji, who was watching today's craftsman competition, heard it. Sitting on the stage, Li Longji listened to the report of the people below and frowned again and again. He looked at Gao Lisher and ordered, "Get He Zhizhang and Wei Shu here." Soon, the 2 assistant ministers came up together. They were familiar with each other and often met each other. Before coming here today, they even saw each other in the court. They didn't know why they were called here when they had just separated, but they knew that it definitely had nothing to do with missing each other. Li Longji finally had some private time, and suddenly such a thing happened. He was in a bad mood and asked He Zhizhang first. Minister He, have you heard the recent rumor? It said that the Sinangsi spent a lot of money to cultivate radishes that are bitter, astringent, and small. He Zhizhang thought that the emperor asked him to come here to ask about the Ministry of Rights or the craftsman competition. He didn't expect that it would suddenly involve the Sinangsi temple that the Ministry of Revenue and the Ministry of Works were fighting over. How could he know? He could not answer. So he could only think for a while and say, Your Majesty, this official thinks that the Sinangsi temple has indeed wasted a lot of opportunities. The Zhang family and Wang family gave them so much help, but they actually planted a lot of radishes without any evidence. So the radishes grew small and bitter. Then what should we do? Li Longji asked again. Obviously, he was not satisfied with what He Zhizhang said just now. Some people should be held accountable, He Zhizhang replied. Then what? Li Longji asked again. Then let the people of the Sinangsi temple carry out a deep self-examination and correct their behavior, He Zhizhang replied again. Li Longji was so angry that he laughed. In that case, why did I ask you to come here? If I let you do it, what would you do? This official is guilty, but this official doesn't know. He Zhizhang finally didn't dare to say casually. Seeing that He Zhizhang had lowered his head, Li Longji asked Wei Shu again, Assistant Minister Wei, do you have a solution? Recently, you have been fighting with the Ministry of Revenue for the Sinangsi Temple. Why don't we hand the Sinangsi Temple over to the Ministry of Works today, and you can accept this matter? Wei Shu didn't dare to say anything like He Zhizhang. If he was the first to be asked, he would also come up with a plan. However, he couldn't do that now. The emperor was angry. If he said something like that again, he would be the unlucky one. After thinking for a while, Wei Shu said, Your Majesty, this official thinks that someone must be spreading rumors. Why don't we arrest the person who spread the rumors? Arrest all of them. Just now, Strongman told me about this matter. Don't tell me that you want to arrest him? I also told the two of you. Who is going to arrest me? Li Longji asked. Your Majesty, this official doesn't mean that. This official wants to find the source and find the person who spread this rumor first. Wei Shu was shocked and quickly added on. This official thinks that you can't do that. If you send troops to arrest him, the person who spread the rumor must have already gone into hiding. When the people see the imperial army going to arrest him, they will be more convinced that this matter is true. He Zhizhang felt that he had found a reason to redeem himself and quickly refuted Wei Shu. Li Longji looked at the two of them left and right and said, These are my assistant ministers. Now, I will ask the two of you, do you have a way to settle this matter immediately? The two of them didn't say anything. They obediently knelt down and waited. The two of them also understood that if they didn't say anything, the more they said, the more mistakes they would make. In any case, the emperor couldn't do anything to them because of this matter. This matter wasn't their business. The two of them were in charge of the craftsman competition, so they should find someone else. Have someone send a glass of wine with ice. Li Longji was angry in his heart, but he also knew that this matter had nothing to do with the two people in front of him. If there was a person who had something to do with this matter, then it was Jiang Xian. How did he deal with this matter? Why did he have someone bring the wine and ice over? Gao Lisher looked at the person who delivered the wine. It was the old man from the savant's restaurant, Zhang Jizhuangzi. He first prepared a portion and drank a few mouthfuls. He felt that it was nothing and nodded his head in relief. He also prepared a portion for Li Longji. The steps of this test were too simple, but Li Longji dared to drink it. After taking a sip of wine, he sighed and said, If everyone can make me feel relieved like the Zhang family and Wang family, then I won't need to be so worried. This official deserves to die. He Zhizhang and Wei Shu said at the same time. Just as the air was about to condense, a new piece of news suddenly came. The Zhang family and Wang family suddenly put up notices in front of all the shops in the capital. They were buying the Sinong Temple's new breed of radish at a high price. Even the seeds were included. It seemed like a very ordinary matter, but it immediately changed the minds of the people. Just a moment ago, they were still thinking that the Sinong Temple was wasting money. Now, they were immediately praising the Sinong Temple. The reason was very simple. The Zhang family and Wang family didn't make a move easily. Once they did, it meant that the radish was good. When he heard this news, Li Longji was stunned. He didn't know who took the lead. He ordered Gao Lishir, go and ask around. Who is the Zhang family's buyer? Gao Lishir received the order and was about to go ask around. Before he could do anything, someone reported, Song Jinggong from Sanshui County is here to deliver delicious food. Announce. As soon as Li Longji heard the name of the person who came, he knew what was going on. Song Jinggong was in charge of everything here. The Zhang family and Wang family didn't have the time to care about the details here. Since he was here, he must be the one who put up the notice. After he finished speaking, he asked Song Jinggong to come up. Li Longji sighed and said, Everyone says that I am biased towards the Zhang family and Wang family. They say that I am unfair. But at the crucial moment, they really do things well. When I asked you guys for a solution, you guys only know how to ask for forgiveness. They just casually dealt with it. If I am not biased toward them, do you think that I will be fair? Your Majesty, please calm down. The Zhang family and Wang family are just good at using people. They are a little more cautious. Actually, the officials here are not bad. How could Gao Lishir miss such a good opportunity? As soon as he heard what the emperor said, he immediately tried to persuade him. It would have been better if he didn't try to persuade him. But once he did, Li Longji got even angrier. With so many people, the two assistant ministers couldn't think of a solution. There were also the other officials. He didn't believe that they wouldn't come up with a solution after hearing the news. They wouldn't even come to see him. Hide. They could really hide. They could hide from him now. But when the time came, would they be able to hide from the enemy as well? Song Jinggong didn't know what was going on with the higher-ups. He had indeed just rushed over. He also had some matters to attend to at Sanshui County, so he delegated the tasks to others and asked them to help him out. He just came here to check on the situation of the competition. But as soon as he arrived in the capital, he heard such rumors. If it were anyone else, they might not be able to do anything. But the person in charge of Savant's restaurant was already writing a notice. The better people in the other shops also immediately sent people to spread the word about the competition. Everyone was working hard. He immediately gave an order to post the notice and used the reputation of the Zhang family and Wang family to salvage the situation. Bringing along a few snacks from Sanshui County, he came to the viewing platform. Although he was only a high scholar, no one dared to treat him as an ordinary high scholar. What kind of high scholar would be able to hold down the fort for the Zhang family and Wang family? He wasn't in charge of anything else but the two Zhuangzi counties in Sanshui County. He was in charge of a hospital and a medical school, as well as 2 docks, as well as matters in the capital. If these were considered normal, then there was nothing abnormal in this world. Song Jinggong went up to the highest point of the viewing platform under the friendly gazes of others. When he saw the emperor, he bowed and said, "This commoner pays his respects to your majesty. This commoner has come from Sanshui County and brought some food along with me. Your majesty, please have a taste." "Yes, dispense with the formalities. Why don't I bestow you an official position?" Li Longji was very happy when he saw Song Jinggong. Song Jinggong was in charge of a lot of things, and he even represented the Zhang family and Wang family's words and actions here. Song Jinggong didn't know what was wrong with the emperor. Why was the emperor talking about giving him an official position the moment they met? Last time, the emperor also said that he would give him an official position, but in the end, the official position was too small, and he didn't want it. Then what official position was he going to give him today? No, what official was he going to give him? He had to ask the young master if he wanted to be an official. If the young master agreed, then he would be an official. If he didn't agree, then he definitely couldn't be an official. When he thought of this, Song Jinggong said, "In reply to your majesty, this commoner will have to ask the young master and young madam about this matter." Li Longji wasn't angry. Everyone liked loyal people. Song Jinggong was loyal to the Zhang family and Wang family, and the Zhang family and Wang family were loyal to him. That was enough. He gestured for Gao Lishir to take the food and asked Song Jinggong, "Was it you who ordered the notice that was just posted?" It was this commoner who gave the order, but it wasn't this commoner's idea. The savant's restaurant had already started posting notices, and all the shops of the Zhang family and Wang family had already started advertising. This commoner just happened to be in time. Song Jinggong wasn't lying. The situation was as it was, and he couldn't steal other people's credit. Li Longji liked to hear such words, so he asked, "Then what do you think of this matter this time?" "In reply to your majesty, it's not a big deal. It's just a battle of public opinion. It's simple, it won't cause any waves." Needless to say, even if this commoner came, any random person from the inner court of the Zhang family and Wang family would be able to handle it very well. It's too easy. What we do is to spread public opinion. Fighting this kind of war is really interesting. Who knows who the opponent is? As Song Jinggong spoke, he was about to laugh out loud. If the Zhang family and Wang family were good in other aspects, then this kind of propaganda was the best. There was actually someone who was playing this game with the Zhang family and Wang family. It was too funny. He didn't laugh out loud, but Li Longji laughed heartily. Haha, good. That's right. Assistant Minister He and Assistant Minister Jiang heard it. This is called a battle of public opinion. The next time you encounter such a situation, do you know what to do? Your Majesty, I understand. He Zhizhang thought about it and figured out the key point. He spoke first and then continued, "I will speak in the name of the Ministry of Rights first, and then find other people to help. In this way, the other side's rumors will be dispelled." Wei Shu also didn't want to fall behind, so he said, "I also understand. This matter is just nonsense from the person who spread the rumors. I will find all the restaurants in the capital to let people taste the radish." Nonsense? No, this matter is true. The Serenade temple's research failed and lost a lot of money. This is true, but what I want to say is not true or false, but that there is a problem. Don't always shirk the responsibility, but how to solve the problem. This is what I want. Li Longji admitted to the matter of the Serenade temple, but he didn't intend to hold anyone accountable. He said this to the two people who were still kneeling in front of him. He then looked at Song Jinggong and asked, "What if the Zhang family and Wang family did something wrong?" "Your Majesty, if something happens to our family, then the person who is responsible for this matter will take responsibility. However, taking responsibility doesn't necessarily mean that they will be punished. If they can figure out the reason and solve the problem, then they won't be punished. If they can't solve the problem, then they need to report it. The higher-ups will evaluate the degree of loss and their own ability. Whether or not they can't do it in the end, they won't chase them out. They will just let them continue to study. The higher-ups will take over their responsibility and solve the problem. For example, if this commoner doesn't command well, the main family will come to question me. This commoner needs to give an explanation. What should be done is done, and there is no need to hide it. It is impossible to lie. This commoner has good luck and hasn't made any big mistakes, so the main family doesn't care. This commoner will report the small mistakes I make every time to the main family. The main family will send a letter to this commoner and tell this commoner how to solve such a problem in the future. The main family said that the person who is responsible needs to be summed up after the incident. The main thing is how to solve the problem. The person who can solve the problem is the real talent. Therefore, this commoner is used to taking the initiative to solve problems instead of shirking the responsibility. The main family that Song Jinggong was talking about was actually Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. After hearing Song Jinggong's words, Li Longji thought for a while and then asked, "If the person sent out has a problem, who will take more responsibility?" We can't just let it go, right? The person who will take the most responsibility is not the person sent out, but the people in the organization department and the supervision department. The person is chosen by the organization department, and the supervision department is responsible for supervision. If the person is chosen well, then there won't be a problem. If the person is supervised well, then there won't be a problem. Song Jinggong thought for a while and replied. This time, Li Longji had nothing to say. The appointment of an official, such as assistant minister, had to be approved by him. If he didn't agree, then no one could expect to be appointed. According to Song Jinggong's words, if the investigation was carried out, he would also take a lot of responsibility. The two of you can get up. Go ask Zhang Shuo, the people from the Ministry of Personnel, and the censorate. Li Longji said to He Zhizhang and He Zhizhang. He wouldn't admit that he was wrong. Since there were other people who could take responsibility, then he would find trouble with them, especially the censorate. They were from the supervision department, so why didn't they look after them? There was also the Ministry of Personnel. They were in charge of officials. Even Zhang Shuo couldn't escape. He Zhizhang and He Zhizhang were very grateful to Song Jinggong. It was because of his arrival that the two of them could stand up and didn't have to worry about being punished. In fact, it had nothing to do with them. If they really wanted to take responsibility, Song Jinggong didn't say that the real person in charge wasn't the two places he mentioned, but the intelligence department. What did the intelligence department care about when there was a public opinion attack? The hope was that they would know in advance when others were scheming and make corresponding countermeasures. Once something happened, it would be the fault of the intelligence department. However, he couldn't say such things. The Zhang Shuo and Wang families didn't have an intelligence department on the surface, so they were just doing business. He Zhizhang and He Zhizhang were fine now, so Li Longji was relieved. He ate the few snacks that Song Jinggong had sent over, and they tasted pretty good. He told Song Jinggong to go back and ask if he could be an official. However, some people felt uncomfortable. Yamamoto had just created public opinion, and before he could make use of this public opinion, it was suddenly gone. Who could he reason with? At this moment, he realized that the capital was too complicated, and it was not easy to do something. After thinking about it, he could only think of a way to find Jiang Si, and Jiang Xin was even happier now. This morning, she was almost unable to raise her head after being criticized by others. What she didn't expect was that the situation would change so quickly. In the afternoon, the situation changed and no one said anything bad about the Nongsi anymore. She was bored in the office. When she was thinking about going out for a walk, someone came to report that there was someone outside who wanted to see her. The first person Jiang Xin thought of was the person who was going to buy carrots. She didn't know what method the other party used to go directly to the Nongsi. This was not a place that just anyone could enter. No, I have to mention to His Majesty that the Nongsi is an important place. Not just anyone can enter through connections. Jiang Xin muttered and said to the person who reported, "Let him in. Everyone else, do your own thing and don't worry about anything else." Even if she didn't say it, others didn't want to get involved. Everyone understood that the things that happened in this situation couldn't be handled by ordinary people. It couldn't be better if someone took the lead. Yamamoto walked in quickly. He came in quickly and walked very slowly. He wanted to take a good look at the Nongsi. Of course, it was not because he wanted to find more secrets from this corridor. He just wanted to see more. It was because he had spent too much money. Just to come in, he had spent 500 strings of coins. If he didn't take a good look, it would be a waste of money. How much could a tour cost? When he came to Luzhou, it only cost him 200 strings of coins, including the place to eat and sleep. He had not even seen the owner of the Nongsi, but he had already spent 500 strings of coins. He didn't know how much he would have to pay after seeing the owner. He walked around one place after another. The Nongsi also had a lot of land here. In order to make it convenient to check, the cloister was built everywhere, so that he could jump down to the ground to have a look at any time. Yamamoto felt much better after walking around like this. If he could walk around for a day, he would feel that the 500 strings of coins were worth it. However, before he could go further, Jiangxin personally led people to welcome him, which made him feel very regretful. He still wanted to see if there was any secret species. As soon as Yamamoto saw Jiangxin, he said very warmly and respectfully, "Lord Jiang, why did you come out in person? Just wait for me to see you." "I don't want to, but the Xinongxi is under my management. Since someone can come in directly, no matter how bold I am, I have to come and welcome him. Besides, a few days ago, someone said that he would find some minister of the ministry or the prime minister to take me down. I'm really scared. What should I do when I can't make my own decisions in my own place? I can only welcome him." Just like what the Zhang family and the Wang family said, raising cats is like raising dogs. When you raise cats, they also think that they are raising you. There is no hierarchy. But raising dogs is different. If the dog thinks that it can't beat people, it can only submit and listen to people. I feel like a dog now. I have to know how to submit to people. If others can enter my place as they please, it means that they are more capable than me. Chapter 700. Hearing Jiangxin's words, Yamamoto knew that the other party was definitely not showing weakness, but another kind of strong performance. He suddenly regretted it. If he had known it would be like this, he would not have spent money to come in. He had spent some money, but did not achieve his goal. So he said with a smile, "Mr. Jiang is too polite. It's not like what you said. In fact, it's really not easy to enter here." "Yes, it's not easy to enter that you came in. Tell me, what do you want me to do? I'm busy now. If you have something to say it quickly. If you want to chat, I don't have time to accompany you." Jiangxin did not give him any face at all, as if the weak complaint just now had not come out of his mouth. The surrounding officials, whether they came out to watch the fun or just happened to pass by, were very sensible to avoid it. No one dared to come near to cause trouble at this time. Yamamoto did not expect the other party to be so tough. He had learned a lot from Yamamoto, but he never expected that this guy named Jiangxin would be so stubborn. Even if he came to find him, he had no intention of compromising at all. Thinking of this, Yamamoto decided to change his approach. Since his peace could not make the other party calm down, he could only change his attitude to be neither servile nor overbearing. Threats would not work. That would be like Yamamoto, who was unlucky to be dealt with. So Yamamoto put away the smile on his face and said to Jiangxin, "I know you have been having a hard time recently. There are problems with the radish seeds, so I came to help you. I'm willing to pay a high price to buy your radishes and seeds, higher than others." The others he was talking about were the Zhang family and the Wang family. He thought that such an attitude could move the other party, because such an attitude was very useful in China. However, the result disappointed him. This was the Tang Empire. The officials of the Tang Empire usually did not express hostility and kindness so obviously, unlike the Japanese, who were either respectful or bullied. No one in the Tang Empire dared to say that they knew the human nature of the people of the Tang Empire, let alone him. Jiangxin was like this now. When Yamamoto changed his attitude, he also changed his attitude. His eyes became blank, as if he did not know what the other party was talking about. After a while, he imitated Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's way of speaking and said to Yamamoto, "I didn't know you were coming. Sorry for not coming out to meet you. You must be the Japanese with the person who offended me last time, right? Well, the Tang Empire likes to make friends with other countries very much. In the spirit of internationalism, I am willing to talk with you on the same level." "What did you just say?" "I said your radishes are not good, so we are willing to take them." Yamamoto really wanted to ask them if they were idiots. Did they understand what he said just now? What? Where are the radishes not grown well? Jiangxin was still at a loss. "It's the radish from your Xinongxi temple. Did the experiment this year fail? Are you guys in a hurry?" Yamamoto had to be more direct. He was really afraid that the other party was really stupid and did not know what he was talking about. After thinking for a while, Jiangxin said, We haven't learned from the relevant departments about what you asked. If necessary, we will try our best to learn it within 24 hours. As for your second question, we, the Senongsi Temple, have always adhered to the principle that we should be patient and careful in the process of farming. We can't do things in a hurry. Therefore, there is nothing urgent, as you said. After Jiang Xin finished speaking, he was in a very good mood. Xiao Bao and Kuka were really good. They could say such profound words. Well, he would learn to say it in the future. Yamamoto was dumbfounded. What a mess. Was he talking about this question? After thinking for a while, Yamamoto had to admit that what he had just asked could be combined with what the other party said. But this was not good. He had to ask clearly. His purpose was to create a certain pressure on the other party by asking questions. Now it seemed that there was no pressure. So Yamamoto said again, many people who have eaten the radish you planted say that your radish is bitter and astringent, and they are small. Also, the process of your planting this time is not so smooth. Shouldn't the radish be sold at a cheaper price? As for the first thing you said, we have no information from the relevant departments at present, so we are not very clear. As for the situation during the planting, the Yamamoto has been diligently doing it according to the Emperor's request, and has achieved certain results. We believe that the Yamamoto will go further on the road of planting in the future. As for the third thing you said, we have not received any information about the business coming to talk about business. As for the sales, we adhere to the policy of sincere trading, not cheating, and firmly protect the interests of all parties. Any behavior that intends to break the existing price pattern will be despised by us. Jiang Xin thought for a while and knew what to say. The people next to him were confused. They did not know where Xiaoqing learned it. What he said was as good as not saying anything. But if he said that Xiaoqing did not say anything, this could become an excuse to attack or defend at any time. Brilliant, really brilliant. Since Xiaoqing went to see the emperor last time, he had been different when he came back. According to the words of many people now, his theoretical thinking had strengthened. Yamamoto put his hand on his leg. After hearing Jiang Xin's words, he pinched himself hard twice to wake himself up as much as possible. Then he shook his head, racked his brains for a moment, and said, "Is Mr. Jiang still thinking about what the Yamamoto temple did to you last time? Don't worry, Mr. Jiang. We have taught him a lesson when we went back. He will not dare to do it again. How much is Mr. Jiang willing to sell this radish? As for what happened last time, I can understand the difficulties of the other party. At the same time, I also hope that the other party can understand the inconvenience of our side. Japan and the Tang Empire have always been friendly neighbors that coexist peacefully. We can sit down and talk about any problem. As for my loss, I think it is caused by a difference in international philosophy. In the principle of seeking common ground while reserving differences, I will not continue to hold the other party responsible, but I reserve the right to further ask the other party to make reasonable ideological and material compensation. The radish trading problem is the problem of the entire Senongsi, and it is not up to me to decide alone. If the other party wants to buy radishes or seeds, they can come up with a feasible purchase plan. The officials of the Senongsi will discuss it very seriously to give the other party a reasonable answer, so as to avoid unnecessary losses on either side. Jiang Xin was a little addicted to talking about it. If it were someone other than Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan who heard it, they would definitely be dumbfounded. But this was the correct diplomatic language. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were very proficient in it. If they heard it, they would definitely understand that the price paid was not enough. So the Senongsi was playing Tai Chi, of course. If someone foolishly tried to show his trump card, he would definitely hear such words. Listening to the diplomatic language was not about the content, but an ambiguous attitude. If you wanted the other party to express their attitude as much as possible, you had to use strength to speak. The most terrible thing was that if you clearly showed your strength, as long as you did not occupy it by force, the other party would still not express their attitude clearly. It was very disgusting. This was the characteristic of China. Even when fighting a war, if you asked him what he meant, he could still give you such diplomatic language. The person who said it might be heartless, but the person who heard it would definitely be depressed to death. Yamamoto wanted to die now. He could not breathe and suffocate to death. He suddenly thought of a matter that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had interfered when he was creating public opinion. He asked again, "How much did Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan give you?" The Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan I'm talking about are not these two random families, but between the clouds and the water in Sanshui County. How much did they give you? I want to hear it. If possible, we are willing to pay a higher price. I'm sorry, we haven't received any information in this regard. If there is definite information, we are willing to let more people know and guarantee fair and reasonable trade. If you have a definite price, you can give it to us. After we discuss it, we will discuss whether to trade with you. Jiang Xin did not want to change the way he said it today. The officials next to him wanted to beat him up when they heard it, let alone Yamamoto. Yamamoto thought about it and finally thought of the problem. The Senongsi must have found out that radishes could be turned into ginseng through some means, but they definitely did not have that kind of technology. Otherwise, they would have started to grow ginseng instead of still wanting to sell radishes and raising the price. Who leaked the secret? Was it Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan or his own people? If it was Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, it meant that they were not monolithic and could still find a way to break through. This was good news for him. In the future, he could come up with more technologies. If it was his own side, who was it? Although he was doing things in the name of the Four Seas Academy, the people who really knew the news were all people from Japan. Could it be that someone was attached to the Tang Empire and sold him out? Thinking of this, Yamamoto sweated. Just like everyone else, what he was most afraid of was not encountering a strong opponent, but that someone on his side would betray him. That was the most helpless and infuriating thing. A member of the Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan? A person from his own country? Yamamoto kept thinking about what went wrong. At this moment, a shout suddenly came from the other side. "You're finished. You won't hear anything from me. I won't say anything. I'm a member of the inner court of the Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. I won't say anything even if you beat me to death. Just you wait. Once my main family finds out, none of you will live. Go ahead and beat me. Come on, beat me with all your strength. My family is living well in the Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. You want me to betray my main family? No way. Do you really think I'm Japanese? Just give me 2 whips and lock me up for 3 days and I'll tell you everything? Do you think that no one will know if you catch me? Humph. Wait for the revenge of the young master and young lady. I'll see which one of you has the ability to resist the young lady's cavalry charge. Beat me again." The voice sounded miserable, but no matter how miserable it was, it always gave people a feeling of fear. This feeling didn't come from the voice, but from the words that the voice said. Yes, the young lady's cavalry charge. These few words made a scene appear in Yamamoto's mind. The wails of the Tibetans, the screams of the cavalry as they were burned, and the desperate gazes of many Tibetans when they weren't being slaughtered. 3 days? Japan? Could it be that Yamamoto had told him about this matter? Yamamoto obtained this information from the voice, and his expression immediately changed. He didn't blame Yamamoto. It seemed that the other party's torture was extraordinary. No wonder when he saw Yamamoto, Yamamoto agreed no matter what he said. Could it be that it was because he had betrayed them? Jiang Xin had been learning from Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's teachings in the letters and saying diplomatic words, but her eyes didn't leave Yamamoto. When she saw Yamamoto's expression change, she shook her head with emotion and mourned for Yamamoto. Of all people, why did he have to run to Buxing County? Did he really not take Xiaobao and Cuckoo seriously? That was proven with the blood of countless people. Well, since that was the case, let's continue. Jiang Xin didn't say anything. When she heard the screams coming from the other side, she gave a look to a person beside her. The person beside her was considered smart and immediately understood what Xiaoqing meant. He said to Jiang Xin and Yamamoto, "Why don't we talk somewhere else? It's really too chaotic here. In fact, it's mainly because a person from the hospital has a problem here and can't be treated. She's just spouting nonsense. After hearing this person's words, how could Yamamoto believe it? This was called trying to hide something only made it more conspicuous. However, he still had to follow the other party's words and walk to another place accompanied by others. Jiangxin looked at the person beside her in surprise and took a few steps back. She whispered to the person, "You're not bad. How did you know what I wanted to say? I used to stay with the young master and young lady, so I've long been used to it. This time, I took the imperial examination and was assigned here. How could I not understand the meaning in your words and the meaning in your eyes?" The person also whispered back. Jiangxin was speechless. Could it be that the people from the Zhang family and Wang family, and even the villagers, were so powerful? They could understand with just one look. What kind of environment did they live in? Good, you have a bright future. Work hard. When the time comes, I'll find a way to promote you. Forget it, I don't think you need me. Since you're from the Zhangji Zhuangzi, you can look for your young master and young lady for promotion in the future. Jiangxin was still thinking that this person was not bad and could be promoted to do things with her in the future. Halfway through her words, she realized that the other party did not need her. The main family's ability was there for all to see. No matter how much she promoted, it would not be as good as a word from the other party. Who didn't know that the Zhang family and Wang family did want to be an official? It was said that Xiao Bao and Cuckoo had wanted to enter the capital, but because the two of them disagreed, they insisted on going to a place that was slightly worse. Furthermore, it could not be too far from Luoyang. In the end, they could only be arranged to go to Buxin County, because it was the county closest to Luoyang. The remaining places were either important or bustling places. They did not live in vain. If they wanted to be an official, they could choose themselves. As an assistant minister, she did not dare to say such a thing. Her son's official position was still waiting to be arranged. Whether it would be in the county or in the capital, it would depend on how much effort she put in. Furthermore, even if it was in the capital, the position would not be decided by her. The Zhang family of Sanshui County, who had just taken the imperial examinations last year, could understand Jiangxin's thoughts. Indeed, if she really relied on her literary skills, she would not be able to pass the examinations. Even if it was arithmetic, she would not be able to pass the examinations. After all, the tests were very complicated. The reason she could pass the examinations was all because of the prestige of the main family. Although she no longer belonged to the main family, her household registration had been separated. But whether it was herself or the other villagers who passed the examinations, she did not admit that she was free. Without the main family, there would be no self. No matter where she went, as long as the main family gave her an order, she would have to do it. The main family not only gave her an official position, but also taught her many ways to do things. Otherwise, how could she follow Shaoqing at all times in the agriculture temple? Sigh. The Japanese of all places, why did they have to go to the county where the young master and the young lady lived first? In the end, they failed repeatedly, but they still did not give up. Now that they fell into the trap, perhaps they would understand in the future. Yamamoto was still wondering whether the mountain temple had betrayed them. How could he know what others were thinking? His ears kept echoing that person's screams. While feeling sad, he had to admire the people of the Zhang family and the Wang family. They were really unusual. Fortunately, he did not think of kidnapping one of the other side's people. Otherwise, not only would he not get any benefits, but it would also be easy to be exposed. He did not believe that the people of the agriculture temple were so united that no one would say anything about what they saw today. Once the Zhang family and the Wang family knew about it, the consequences would be. It was their fault for not selling the radishes and seeds to him at a low price. As he was thinking, Yamamoto was led to another place. There were many connected houses here. Yamamoto inadvertently, or perhaps he deliberately looked at them, found that in the cracks of the wooden boards of the next house, someone was planting radishes on them while digging soil. Yamamoto immediately knew that the agriculture temple had gotten the news, but the news was not confirmed, so they had to figure it out by themselves. Using soil? Dream on. The Zhang family used sand. How could soil work? Besides, there were other things. Without seeing the result in person, he knew that they would definitely fail. Thinking like this, Yamamoto felt a little better. As long as the agriculture temple did not figure it out by themselves, he still had hope. As soon as he saw the house arranged for him, he said to Jiang, "Mr. Jiang, now I want to raise the price to buy the radishes. The price is very high." Jiang immediately asked, "How much?" "Higher than the price of the Zhang family and the Wang family," Yamamoto replied, but was unwilling to say his price. At this time, suddenly someone shouted outside, "Mr. Jiang, my master, said that he is willing to buy the seeds and radishes at a high price. A seed is 35 copper coins, and a radish is 170 copper coins. Chapter 701. While the people with the heaven seed were busy with the spring plowing, a large group of people came out of Pengzhou Pass. The horses that pulled the carriages were slightly weaker than the military horses. The people in the group all puffed out their chests and raised their heads. The people sitting in the carriages pulled up the curtains and talked to each other. From time to time, there would be carefree laughter coming out from a group. If someone who had just arrived at Pengzhou Pass saw this, they would be very curious. Looking at the clothes of the people in the group, they knew that they were from Great Tang. After entering the territory of Tubo, only a small portion of people had weapons on them. The others did not seem to be vigilant at all. The most appropriate description was that the people of Great Tang came out to travel. Perhaps they could even find wild beasts to hunt. This was because there were women singing and music coming out from the carriages. If one listened carefully, there was a desolate Huqin and a whimpering Hujia. After leaving Pengzhou, the group continued to move forward. When it was almost night time, they set up camp near the carriages. Bonfires were lit, and everyone gathered around the bonfires to eat, drink, sing, and dance. The commotion was not small. Suddenly, some Great Tang riders were attracted by the noise. They used the light of the bonfires to look at the flag in the group that was deliberately raised. They turned their horses around and did not stop at all. On the flag, there was a rice seedling that was pulling the carriage forward. It looked very interesting and funny. But it was this flag that, as long as someone raised it, they would be able to safely move along the road to the desert on the east side of the Ruoshui River. Even if many Tubo soldiers wanted to bully the people of their own country, they would not dare to have any ideas about this group. It was easy to kill this group of merchants, but they would not be able to face the anger of the people behind the flag. The merchants around the bonfires did not care about the Tubo riders that passed by. They sang and danced as they wished without any fear. Listening to Huqin's voice and watching the dancers' skirts fluttering in the wind, there were two people sitting next to each other, eating meat and drinking wine while talking about their own topics. Little Worm, help me analyze why there are people buying eggs in large quantities recently, causing the price of eggs to increase by 20%. Luckily, there are people selling meat at a low price. Otherwise, it would be difficult for ordinary people to eat good food. One person drank half of the wine in his bowl and casually wiped his mouth with his sleeve as he asked the other person, "I don't know." The price of salt did not change, but the price of grain increased slightly. The price of oil also increased by less than 5%. I think there is no problem. It is still the same in this season. Zhonggang, you should drink less. If you drink too much, it will be troublesome. Little Worm's alcohol tolerance was not high, so he only took a sip. Could it be an economic war? Someone else has come over with designs on Jianan Circuit, and they're secretly setting up a trap. Now that you've entered the game, you've become smarter. Think about it carefully. Zhonggang asked again. He imitated the way Little Worm drank and took a sip. This time, he finished half of the remaining wine in the bowl. A modest smile appeared on Xiao Chang's face as he said, "I've told you many times, don't mention top-level games anymore. I'm far from it. That day, you were right beside me when I played against the young master of the Zhang family. You also saw how badly I lost. I really couldn't even last 2 hours. Every quarter of an hour represented 5 days, and I couldn't even last 1.5 months. I lost the same 1,000 strings of coins and only had a little more than 100 strings of coins left. I saw it, but that's because you haven't competed at such a fast speed before, so you're not used to it. If you were to compete with the young master of the Zhang family again, you'd definitely be able to last for 2 hours, or even up to 3. You're much better than before. Zhong Gang consoled and encouraged Little Worm, but his thoughts couldn't help but wander back to the time when Little Worm and the young master of the Zhang family were playing games. The two of them were in separate rooms, unable to see each other, and each of them played 1,000 strings of coins. The terrain Little Worm had chosen was none other than Pengzhou, a place he was most familiar with. In the first half of an hour, Little Worm's arrangements were very smooth, and the other party didn't seem to have made a move. However, after another quarter of an hour, Little Worm began to sweat incessantly, and it became more and more difficult for him to deal with the other party. From then on, Little Worm was no longer as smooth as before. He struggled with all his might, retreating step by step in the face of the other party's storm-like attacks. Only in the middle did he manage to organize 2 counterattacks, but each time he lost more and more money at a faster pace. 75 minutes. He only managed to last for 7 minutes. He didn't reach the 6 hours the young master of the Zhang family had said, nor did he reach the 2 hours official Bai and the others had said. However, what made him happy was that in the end, Little Worm was still allowed to enter the ranks of the top-level games. There was only one reason for this, and that was that in the end, Little Worm clearly could have deceived the common people once more to raise money for himself, but he didn't. It was because of this that the young master of the Zhang family had Little Worm's name recorded in the top-level games. He still remembered what the young master of the Zhang family had said to Little Worm that day. "You're not bad. You remember what happened today. Businessmen also have integrity, and you should do the same in the future. When the time comes, there will be another kind of rule. And that is, if you really can't do it, you can tell the common people about it. The common people will support you. Only people with roots are invincible." From that moment on, he no longer doubted that the young master of the Zhang family had led the army to victory in the economic war started by the Tibetans in Jiangnan province. He no longer doubted that the young lady Cuckoo had personally led the army to cause a storm of blood in Tubo. He really wanted to tell everyone he knew that the most powerful person in Great Tang wasn't the top 10 on the top-level games, but rather the young master of the Zhang family who had never shown his name on the games. Unfortunately, he had been given a gag order, so he could only discuss this with Little Worm in secret and not tell anyone else. In fact, even if he told this to others, they wouldn't believe him, unless they saw the young master of the Zhang family defeating the top 10 rankers with their own eyes. The crackling of the bonfire woke Zhong Gang up from his reminiscing. When he looked at Little Worm again, he said, "Are you really going to explore other places in the coming days? You don't care about the business here anymore?" "Yes, I'm going to explore more. Every place is different, so I'll learn as I go. I'll leave the business to you. I'll take a portion of the money and leave. I can do business anywhere." For the sake of his dreams, Little Worm was prepared to explore the outside world and learn more skills. When the time came, if anyone dared to lay their hands on Great Tang, he would learn from the young master of the Zhang family and deal with them. "I'll go with you too." "Where are you going?" Zhong Gang couldn't bear to leave the Little Worm he had played with since he was young, so he wanted to leave as well. "Go to the capital. I still want to meet the young master of the Zhang family and demon fiend Cuckoo." Cuckoo's revenge against the Tibetans was truly satisfying. It was as if they had never suffered a loss before. As long as others made the first move, they would definitely retaliate, and their methods would be even more ruthless. Little Worm had already chosen a place for himself. The capital was bustling, so he might be able to see more and learn more there. Zhong Gang asked doubtfully, "Then why didn't the young master of the Zhang family retaliate? Why did he only fight a defensive battle?" "That's right. Why didn't he retaliate? This doesn't seem like their personalities." "Retaliate? Eggs going up in price?" Meat going down in price, grains and other aspects are all stable. I know Zhonggang, I know the young master of the Zhang family is going to make a move. Yes, that must be it. Little Worm heard Zhonggang's words and was just about to continue speaking when he suddenly thought of a certain situation and said to Zhonggang in shock, Chapter 702. Zhonggang was even more confused after hearing Xiao Chong's explanation. Xiao Chong, where did this come from? Why can't I tell? I can't tell either. If you want to know, you have to investigate all the caravans in Pengzhou or find out about the grain stores, oil stores, salt stalls, as well as the places where livestock are killed and eggs are laid. Last year, when the Zhang family and Wang family arrived in Ezhou, they started letting the people in the surrounding prefectures raise chickens according to their conditions. Now is the time for laying eggs. Last month, there were even people who sold pancakes complaining that the eggs were too small when they were just hatched. If they put in 2 eggs, they would earn less, but if they put in 1, people wouldn't be willing to buy them. Now should be the time when the chickens lay the most eggs. So why did they raise the price? The price of eggs and meat is definitely not coincidental. It's because the young master of the Zhang family doesn't want his actions to cause too much damage to the local area. Can't you see that the price of salt is still at its original position? The price of oil and grain is still the same as before. Xiao Chong now had the same sentiments as number 1 back then. As long as they encountered something special, it was like a thick fog had appeared in front of them. When they finally managed to blow away a piece of land, they couldn't even find their way back. The unknown was the scariest. Zhonggang finished the wine in his bowl, half understanding. He reached for the wine jar. That's not right. How can there be no damage? People who raise chickens make money, but those who kill livestock and sell meat lose money. Are you stupid? If the price of meat can be lowered, then the price of livestock will be lower. How much meat sellers made before, they're still making the same amount now. Xiao Chong explained to Zhonggang. That's still not right. Won't those who sell livestock lose money? Zhonggang's brain started working again. Xiao Chong nodded. That's right. The price of livestock will be lowered. Who sold the livestock? Where did the livestock come from? Tubo. The 2 of them got the same answer. Then what about the eggs? Zhonggang asked again. Before Xiao Chong could answer, he said, Could it be that they were sold to Tubo? Probably. But why would Tubo need so many eggs? How are they sold? Xiao Chong, who thought he could guess the methods of the young master of the Zhang family, was shocked again. The 2 of them looked at each other and stopped talking about this matter. The more they thought about it, the more confused they became. It was tiring. Xiao Chong drank his wine with a load on his mind. He no longer sipped his wine like before. Instead, he drank a big mouthful of wine and ate a big mouthful of meat. The other merchants in the group did not have as many thoughts as the 2 of them. As long as they reached the desert, they could find what the Chamber of Commerce needed there, especially herbs and plant seeds. Things that could grow desert cistanche were very suitable for growing in the sand. Some rivers had too much sand, so it was just right to plant such things. At the same time, they could also use salt and other things to trade with the local people for local specialties, such as furs, the bones of wild beasts that could be used to make medicine, and even live venomous snakes. Bringing these back to the Great Tang would be another source of income. Today, there were more people living on the east side of Ruoshui than before. Last year, because of the lack of food, the people of Tubo did not have a good life. There were also cases of people starving to death. Those who did not have animals found a big problem during the spring plowing this year. They could not farm like before. There was a lack of farming tools and seeds. After surviving the winter, there was no food left. If they continued to stay on the west bank of the Ruoshui River, they would not be able to find a way to survive. Thus, many people wanted to bring their families from Pengzhou to the Great Tang and become a citizen of the Great Tang. However, both the Great Tang and Tubo did not allow them to do so. The Great Tang was afraid that this portion of the people would not be easy to manage and would cause chaos. Tubo's reason was simple. If all the people left, Tubo would only have this piece of land left. Thus, they might as well give it to others. As long as a portion of the people could live a comfortable life in the Great Tang, the rest of the Tubo people would naturally follow behind. The pass of Pengzhou was tightly shut. The Tubo cavalry threatened and threatened, not allowing the people to move forward. The people had no choice but to kneel outside the pass of Pengzhou. The pleas of the adults and the cries of the children caused the ears of the people at the pass to buzz. The officials of Pengzhou could not think of a solution, and the provincial governor of Jiannan was not prepared to find trouble. He could only watch as the Tubo people ate the food they brought with them bit by bit. He also prepared his troops to prevent the people from charging through the pass. At this crucial moment, the inner court of the Zhang family, who had stayed behind in Izhou, took action. It was a small matter, and they did not even need to ask the main family. They directly brought out the food, utensils, and salt and placed them down from the city walls. They told the Tubo people to cook their own porridge and not to rob. The flag of the logistics camp of Izhou, which had already been disbanded, was still very intimidating. The Tubo people obediently started to eat alzhou. They also ate the wild vegetables that appeared in spring together. After eating for 3 days, they calmed down and were no longer as chaotic as when they first arrived. Only then did the inner court of the Zhang family discuss this matter with them. The Zhang family and Wang family would provide the food, and the Tubo people would take the white fold seeds and plant them on the east side of the Ruoshui River. Before the white fold seeds could be harvested, the food and other daily necessities would be the responsibility of the Zhang family and Wang family. After the white fold seeds were harvested, a portion of the daily necessities would be deducted according to the amount. The rest would be exchanged with the Zhang family and Wang family for survival supplies. In the future, they would plant every year and exchange like this every year. The Tubo people were about to run out of food. They did not even ask about the specific details of the exchange and agreed. They brought a lot of food seeds and tools to rebuild the village on the east side of the Ruoshui River. They were prepared to use their own hands to create a happy life. They were not afraid of people coming into the village to bully the people like in the past. They were planting white fold seeds for the devilish cuckoo. Whoever dared to come over could try. As expected, the Tubo soldiers who occasionally came over were very envious. However, they did not dare to make a move. When they saw the meat and bones that the Zhang family and Wang family gave to the people from Pengzhou, they could only stare helplessly. None of them had the courage to snatch it and try it themselves. While the Tubo people were planting cotton, they also did some chores. They weaved last year's hay into curtains, put hemp in water, and then used it to make ropes. They also hunted and prepared these things. When the Tang Empire's caravan came over, they would use them to exchange. The people did not know which side they belonged to. If they said they belonged to the Tang Empire would not admit it. If they said they belonged to the Tubo Empire, the Tang Empire would not accept it. If they said they belonged to the Tubo Empire, they would not be controlled by the Tubo Empire. This kind of final question was too profound. The people did not understand and did not think too much about it. As long as they could live a good life, it was fine. This was the second time the caravan came over this year. The last time, because the Tubo people had just settled down, they did not exchange too many things. This time, the merchants felt that the goods in the hands of the Tubo people would be much more than last time. At this time, they gathered around the bonfire to discuss what kind of price to give. Some people said that they could give a slightly higher price than last time. After all, the things they exchanged were very valuable. The straw curtains and hemp ropes were bought by the Zhang family and Wang family in Izhou. They gave a high price. The medicinal herbs were bought by the local medicine shops. They were not cheap either, not to mention the fur. Therefore, they gave a little more money to make the Tubo people work harder. Some people said that they should lower the price a little more. They said that the goods were not easy to sell, and that they could make more money. At the beginning, those who had different opinions were still discussing calmly. But as they talked and drank too much, they began to quarrel loudly. Some people even prepared to fight. At this time, Xiao Chong, who had been unwilling to guess the specific actions of the Zhang family's young master, but could not let it go, was unhappy. He shouted loudly, "What are you shouting about? Do you really think that this place is yours? Even if I give it to you, which one of you can hold on? When you do things, don't you think about what the Zhang family and Wang family want?" The merchants who were still arguing quieted down after being shouted at by Xiao Chong. They knew that Xiao Chong had personally met the two young masters of the Zhang family and Wang family and could talk to them. Just now, they had been thinking too much about money. Now that they were reminded, they realized that this road belonged to the Zhang family and Wang family. To be more precise, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had used their blood to pave this road. The money earned from this road had to be taken out every year to specially give to the families of the great Tang warriors buried here. It was not something that merchants like them could control. Xiao Chong, then tell us, what kind of price should we give? A merchant did not want to appear weak and asked loudly. Then you have to first understand what Xiao Bao and Cuckoo are planning. Why did they leave the Tubo people here? Why did they only let them plant by Dynasty and not grain? Xiao Chong raised two questions. The merchants also wanted to know why. They all looked at Xiao Chong, waiting for him to continue. However, Xiao Chong did not dare to say anything. He felt that Xiao Bao and Cuckoo were planning to directly incorporate the east side of the Ruoshui River into the Great Tang one day. As long as the local people were used to the current life, they could do so in the future. Seeing that everyone was looking at him, Xiao Chong thought for a moment and said, "Because this road is very profitable. If we scare the Tubo people away, who will plant by Dynasty in the future. My idea is to tell them how much they can sell their things for, and also tell them the price we are willing to pay. If they feel that we are not offering enough, they can sell it themselves. If they feel that it is a waste of time and it is not easy to enter Pengzhou, then they can sell it to us. Don't always set your eyes on the small amount of money. Money in the desert is the real money. The fish and prawns in the lakes there taste good, and there are many medicinal herbs. There is also desert sistanch. We won't make less money. If we really do something wrong and make Xiao Bao and Cuckoo angry, think carefully about the consequences. Do you really plan to let them personally come from the capital to solve this?" Xiao Chong's words were effective. Many of the merchants shrank their heads, feeling a chill run down their necks. Just as the merchants decided to follow Xiao Chong's words, two fast horses came from the direction of Pengzhou. There was a person on each horse. When they reached the front of the group, they flipped over and landed. One of them said to the crowd, "The Chamber of Commerce has decided that when we meet Tubo people, we will let them personally come to Pengzhou to sell their goods. We will also tell them the approximate price." The merchants were a little unhappy. If they really followed this, wouldn't they be making less money? Could it be that after joining the Chamber of Commerce, they could not do additional business? As for your losses, the person who came seemed to have guessed what the merchants were thinking. He continued, "Your losses in this area will be reported to the young master and young lady. The young master will think of a way to compensate you. When the Zhang family and Wang family do business, they will not let their partners suffer losses." The merchants were happy now. They all said harmless things. The person who came did not want to stay outside for long. He got back on his horse and prepared to leave. At this time, Xiao Chong suddenly said, "Can you help me pass on a message? Just tell them if I can help." There are more words below, but they don't count the number of words in the main text. It feels good to change places. This is actually the village I lived in when I was young. I haven't come back for 20 years. This morning, I walked around and felt a special feeling. The original river, the original trees, the original fields, and the original roads are all gone. After walking around in a big circle, I finally found some vague memories of the past. I climbed up the mountain behind a school. This place hasn't changed much. The pine trees from 20 years ago are still alive. It's just that someone has put a label on them. There are a lot of weeds growing on the mountain path. It's probably because there are fewer people. But when I was young, it got dark early. When I was leaving school, I always felt like there was something following me. The tombs on that part of the road are still there. When I was young, I could see the trenches left behind by the war between Japan and Russia. The things called thorny plums that grew on the side of the road are actually not eaten by people. I plucked a few from the side of one of the tombs. I didn't wash them, just wiped them and ate them. They don't taste good. They're not as sweet as the fruits I ate as a snack when I was young. A lot of the mountains have been dug up to build buildings. There are no traces of my old home on the hillside. But there are still a lot of mountains that have not been touched. They've probably been contracted out. When spring comes next year, I can go to the mountains to pick wild vegetables again. Yes, I can also pick mushrooms, because the people who tend the sheep are gone. Chapter 703. While Jian Nandao was at ease with the merchants doing business, Yamamoto in the capital was facing the biggest problem in his life. Yes, at least that was what he thought. When he was trying his best to lower the price of the radish seeds and radishes, he accidentally received a piece of news. That was Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, who were still in Baoxing County, sent people to the Sinology Temple to buy all the radish seeds and radishes. Not a single one was allowed to be left behind. The price given was frightening. A seed was 30 copper coins, and a radish, regardless of its size, was 150 copper coins. How could this be considered buying radishes? How many seeds and radishes did the Sinology Temple have? Could it be that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family could really take out such a large sum of money? Yamamoto didn't believe it. He felt that if everything was sold at the price given by Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, it would be impossible to get at least 500,000 strings of coins. Could it be that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family could take out so much money immediately? Unless they were willing to sell between the clouds and the water. Therefore, Yamamoto waited. When Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family couldn't take out the money, he could continue to talk to the Sinology Temple's Shaoqing Jiangsun, hoping to buy more radishes and seeds at a lower price. But today, when he spent money to come here again, he heard other people talking in a low voice. As soon as he heard a sentence, he felt that it was very difficult. Did you hear? Shaoqing is going to sell the seeds and radishes to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family. If they can't sell them, they will destroy them, so as to avoid someone who can't hold back and steals them to sell to other people, and at a very low price. Yamamoto had just entered the Sinology Temple's territory when he heard the words of the two people under the tree next to him. Shocked, Yamamoto didn't care whether he would be discovered eavesdropping or not. He quietly went around to the other side of the tree and stood under it, motionless, for fear that others would see him. I've heard. I don't know if they're crazy, spending a lot of money to buy useless radishes. Even if they can use them to make fish, they don't need so many. This was another person's voice. It was more nasal and could be distinguished immediately. When Yamamoto heard this, he really wanted to tell the two of them that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan weren't crazy. The two of them were shrewd. If this radish could be planted into ginseng, how much would a ginseng cost? If they really took away all the radishes and seeds, their family wouldn't have to do anything else but sell ginseng. The two people who were talking couldn't hear Yamamoto's thoughts, so they continued to talk. The first one said to the other, in fact, they can't take out so much cash now. Instead, they have an agreement with Shaoqing that they will send the radishes to him first. They will use between the clouds and the water as collateral. If they can't pay back the money, between the clouds and the water will be given to the Sinology Temple, and it will be settled by this time next year. Really? They actually put between the clouds and the water as collateral? No wonder Shaoqing didn't let people without official positions go to see the radishes today. It turns out that they have the idea of between the clouds and the water. Do you think that if between the clouds and the water is given to the Sinology Temple, we can eat good food every day in the future? The other person said longingly. The more Yamamoto listened behind the tree, The colder his heart became because he knew that it was impossible that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan couldn't pay back the money. If that was the case, wouldn't he have no hope at all? Wouldn't the skills he learned secretly be useless? No, he had to think of something. Thinking like this, Yamamoto quietly moved to the side to find Jiang Xian. The two people seemed to not know that he had come, and they were still talking about the secrets of the Sinangxi temple under the tree. When Yamamoto spent a lot of effort to find Jiangxin was having lunch or dinner. At this time, it was impossible to judge specifically. Anyway, it was not a normal time to eat. "You're here?" Jiangxin put down his chopsticks and looked at Yamamoto. He greeted him casually, as if he was very familiar with him. Yamamoto felt like vomiting blood. If he was so familiar with him, he wouldn't have to spend so much money to come here. Seeing that he had greeted him, he smiled and replied, "I'm here." After that, he quickly entered his identity and found a place to sit down. He watched Jiangxin eat there. It was not too late to talk about it after he finished eating. It was still early to be dark. Jiangxin had just received a letter from Zhang Xiaobao this morning. In the letter, he was asked to act in a play, just like the play in the Pear Garden. However, the requirements were very high. He had to act until he left the script and entered real life. If he couldn't do it, he could change to another person. Jiangxin did not think that she was any worse than others. To be able to become a high-ranking official, which one of them did not have some talent? Thus, she decided that she would act out the role herself. She did not even eat breakfast and rehearsed over and over again. Under the situation where many people found fault with her, she finally passed. It was now 4:45 p.m. today. In Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's understanding of the time, it was 4 p.m. in the afternoon and 16 p.m. internationally. Eating at this time was indeed not lunch, but it had nothing to do with dinner. Otherwise, he would be hungry in the middle of the night. Yamamoto spent money and waited while he rehearsed. Finally, it was time. He had to thank him for being smart enough. Otherwise, it would have taken a few days for a stupid person to rehearse. After repeating twice in his heart, Jiangxin calmed down. He looked at Yamamoto and said, "You haven't eaten breakfast, right? I haven't eaten either. I'm eating now. Let's eat together?" With a smile on his face, Yamamoto turned his head to look at the window and found that it would be dark in another 2 hours. He pinched his thigh hard to make sure that he wasn't thinking. He said, "Not yet. I just woke up and came over after washing up in a hurry. I didn't have time to eat breakfast. Okay, let's eat together." When he said this, Yamamoto felt that he had improved. He could actually tell the truth to others. He really didn't eat breakfast or lunch. It wasn't that he didn't have time to eat, but he really couldn't eat. He had something on his mind, so he felt uncomfortable when he saw food. He didn't even drink 2 mouthfuls of water. Jiangxin gestured, and someone immediately brought another set of tableware. Yamamoto also sat opposite Jiangxin and picked up his chopsticks to look at the dishes on the table. Good stuff. It's actually, what is this? Yamamoto wanted to praise, but found that there were many things that he didn't know, so he had to ask. "Come, let me introduce it to you. This is a salted radish. You don't look like it because it doesn't look like a radish when it's cut. Instead, it's cut like an eggplant. In fact, it's a radish. Look carefully, because there's an extra layer of sesame oil on it. The texture is covered. This is a pickled radish. Like the salted radish, it's also cut like an eggplant. The person who cut it is pretty good. I'll praise him later. This is a boiled radish. Although it looks thin, in fact, it's because it's specially cut with a small knife before cooking. The advantage is that it's cooked quickly. Just look at one plate and you'll know. It doesn't change its appearance. It's steamed radish and dipped in sauce. This is stir-fried radish with radish skin. This is stewed radish with radish skin. And this is... Jiangxin tirelessly introduced it to Yamamoto. Some of the radishes were hard to recognize because the person who cooked them was skilled, while the other part was easy to recognize. Yamamoto finally knew what the table was. It turned out to be a full radish banquet. The most annoying thing for Yamamoto now was radishes. Seeing the table full of radishes with various cooking methods, as well as the stir-fried radish with radish skin that he had never heard of before, he was in a daze and asked, "Why are they all radishes? Does Xiaoqing like to eat them? There's also a kind called carrot now. It's actually not bad. It tastes better when it's fried." Yamamoto had never eaten fried carrots before, so he blurted it out. Jiang Tsun didn't care. She drank a mouthful of radish soup and said to Yamamoto, "Radishes are good. Haven't you heard that radishes are small ginseng? It's very nutritious." When he heard the word ginseng, Yamamoto trembled. He was now afraid of the words radish and ginseng because there was a connection between them. He couldn't let others know. Seeing that Jiang Tsun didn't seem to know the relationship between them, Yamamoto heaved a sigh of relief. He also picked up a piece of steamed radish and put it in his mouth to slowly chew. It was a little bitter and a little spicy, but it was mostly sweet. The radish was steamed very smoothly. He didn't know how it was steamed, but it was the kind with the skin. A round piece was cut from the middle. When he ate the skin, he realized that the skin was crisp. He didn't know how it was steamed. Jiang Tsun seemed to have the same idea about why the radish skin was crisp. She took another bite and said, "How is it? Isn't it good?" The skin is actually crisp. This is the ability of Savant's restaurant. It's too early and there's no time to cook, so I got Savant's restaurant to send a table of radishes. Don't underestimate a table of radishes. The price isn't low. If I count it, I'll get someone to send me money later. I'm so poor. I can't even afford a radish. Others don't know and always think that I'm glorious as a Xiaoqing. In fact, I'm sullen in my heart. Who doesn't know that the food at Savant's restaurant is delicious, but I can't afford it. I can only occasionally choose the cheap ones to try. If they are slightly more expensive, I don't dare to buy them. Tell me, what's the point of living like this? After Jiang Tsun finished speaking, she stopped eating. She shook her head and sighed, looking very miserable. However, Jiang Tsun didn't agree with her at all. She thought to herself, "I still want to eat the food at Savant's restaurant every day, but is the good food there for ordinary people?" However, Jiang Tsun's words made Yamamoto's heart move. After drinking 2 mouthfuls of fragrant radish soup, he said, "Could it be that Xiaoqing wants to eat the food at Savant's restaurant every meal? Actually, this isn't difficult." Not difficult? How is it not difficult? Do you think that Savant's restaurant won't take my money just because I'm a Xiaoqing? Jiang Tsun raised her head and asked in puzzlement, "Xiaoqing, don't you know that the Senongsi temple still has that kind of bitter radish? As long as Xiaoqing is willing to sell it to me at a cheap price, I'll save the money for Xiaoqing to eat at Savant's restaurant." Yamamoto mustered up his courage and said, he felt that this was his last chance. If he left like last time, he probably wouldn't be able to buy radishes in the future. Jiang Tsun's face sank. "Could it be that you want to bribe me? I'm wholeheartedly serving the country, so how can I accept your money? The Senongsi temple is open to business." "Oh no, it's open to let the people live better lives. How can I be the kind of person who forgets righteousness at the sight of profit? There are other officials who want to see me set an example." Yamamoto was shocked at first, but when he heard Jiang Tsun's words, he finally understood. He said, "Sir, you're right. I was rude. It's not a bribe. It's to let the Senongsi temple have more money to do things for the people. Sir, how about 5 copper coins per seed? You'll still have 5 copper coins left." Yamamoto instinctively understood why Jiang Tsun said this. There were other people around, and it wouldn't be good if they used this matter to impeach him. He didn't offer a high price, and it couldn't be compared to what Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan offered. However, he had other thoughts in his heart. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's money was given to the Senongsi temple, but his money was given to Yamamoto personally. 30 copper coins per seed seemed to be a lot, but how much could you earn? I'm offering 5 questions. If you sell 1 seed, you can keep 5 copper coins for yourself. This is the difference, not to mention the radishes. At this time, the 2 people standing at the side turned their heads and didn't say anything. They just looked at Jiang Tsun and Yamamoto, as if they wanted to hear more from the 2 of them. Jiang Tsin's eyes swayed left and right. He coughed and said, "You said that the radish seeds are delicious when steamed. Even if it's 5 copper coins per seed, you're willing to buy it?" "Yes." Yamamoto was very cooperative. "That's fine. I'll sell you 1,000 seeds first." "Yang, I'll leave this matter to you." Jiang Tsin agreed. The person he was talking about was standing on his left. When he was listening, just now, his ears moved a few times. Yang was obviously unwilling to sell. He said to Jiang Tsin, "Sir, the radish seeds and radishes were all bought by Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. The price was not low. If you sell them to others at a low price, it will be difficult if they know. There are also people in the Sinongxi temple. They are all waiting for Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's money at this time next year so that they can use it to do big things." The meaning of Yang's words was very clear. That is, if you get benefits, what about others? This others is me. You can't let me do things for free, right? This. Brother Yamamoto, what do you think should be done? Jiang Tsin couldn't continue to ask, so he asked Yamamoto. Yamamoto couldn't wait to strangle this person called Yang to death. You, a small official, also want to join the fun. He secretly regretted. If he had known, he would have chosen time when there was no one around to tell Jiang Xian, looking at Jiang Tsin and the 2 people standing next to him. Yamamoto gritted his teeth and said, "I estimate that 5 copper coins per seed can be bought. If it's steamed, there will be 10 copper coins left. However, 1,000 seeds is too little. How about 1,000,000 seeds? Give me the money first, and then get the seeds. I like this." Yamamoto raised the price to 15 copper coins. The money needed to buy 1,000,000 seeds was 15,000 strings of coins. It was not a small amount. He was also prepared to only do one business. He would go back and turn 1,000,000 seeds into ginseng as soon as possible. He would not accept radishes. Unexpectedly, when he said the price, Yang disagreed and said there were few people in the Sinongxi in the past. After all, there were not many things to do. But now there are many. I estimate that there are 500 people registered. It's not easy on weekdays. They have to do things in the wind and rain. It's difficult. Another official, who was also from the Sinongxi, echoed at this time. That's right. There are too many people now. Sometimes even the people who cook complain. Looking at the big cart of vegetables bought, it's not enough to cook a meal. Money, it's all because of money. Yamamoto's face showed a difficult expression at this time. He wanted to agree, but he felt that if he added more money, he would be under too much pressure. He didn't want to take it, but he was afraid that the 2 people would leak the matter. At that time, he wouldn't be able to buy anything at this price. Just as he was hesitating whether to add a little more, Jiang Tsin put down his chopsticks and said to him, "Brother Yamamoto, how about this? You can save 20 copper coins. But this year's radishes are not growing well. 5,000 died. How about steaming them for Brother Yamamoto?" This was the combination. Giving away 5,000 radishes for free, but the price was still high. What should be earned should be earned. Yamamoto calculated that if 25 copper coins were to buy a radish seed, the extra cost would be 10,000 strings of coins. According to the money given by the Zhang family and Wang family, 150 copper coins for a radish. If he wanted to make a profit, it would be worth at least 100,000 radishes, which was 15,000 strings of coins. But this money couldn't be calculated like that. After thinking about it, he gritted his teeth and said, 20,000 dead radishes. I want to steam them to eat. Okay, 20,000. Jiang Tsin also agreed, and then looked at Yamamoto without saying anything. Yamamoto understood that the other party was waiting to see the money, so he immediately said goodbye and left. Yamamoto had made a lot of arrangements in the capital. He took out 25,000 strings of coins without hesitation. This time, he didn't even have silk, only copper coins. Carts of them were sent to the Sinongxi the next day. This time, the person who received him was not Jiang Tsin, nor was it the 2 people he saw yesterday, but another small official of the Sinongxi temple. As soon as he saw Yamamoto, he greeted him with a smile and instructed him to count the money. In fact, there was no need to check them one by one, as long as they weighed them. After weighing them, they were slightly heavier than normal. Normally, the rope used to string the copper coins also had weight. It was light, but it couldn't withstand too much. Young Master Yamamoto, please follow me. The official who received Yamamoto happily led Yamamoto to the back. After turning 2 places, they came to a big courtyard. To be able to occupy a courtyard in the capital, the Serenade Temple's ability could be seen. As soon as the 2 people arrived, the person who received them shouted to the house next to them, "Someone, bring up the radish seeds and radishes that young Master Yamamoto wanted. Are they all done?" The other side immediately replied, "Don't worry, I've already finished for young Master Yamamoto. A piece of my hair was burned off. I'm suffering." Hearing the words coming from the house, Yamamoto, who should have been happy, felt that something was wrong. Looking at the next row of houses that were smoking, he became more and more uneasy. Not long after, the first few pots of radishes were carried out. It was just the first few pots. There was no difference. There was still the smell of radishes, the kind that was steamed. The smell of radish seeds also came, which was a little pungent. Pots of radishes were carried to the courtyard like this. Some of them were still steaming. The person who delivered the radishes said politely to Yamamoto, "I don't think this courtyard can hold all of them. Some of them have to be transported away first. There are people elsewhere who will help to steam them. Young Master Yamamoto, don't worry. They are almost done steaming. It won't take too long." The sky collapsed, the earth sank, and the day turned into night. Yamamoto's eyes were full of little stars, the kind that twinkled. When he opened his mouth, his smile disappeared. "Young Master Yamamoto, young Master Yamamoto, do you feel that we have done too well and feel bad? It's okay." The higher-ups said that young Master Yamamoto likes to eat radishes. They are very nutritious, just like ginseng. It's just that it's not the right time to eat them yet. It's okay. When we steam them, we leave a gap in the middle of each radish. When the time comes, we can dry them in the sun. It can guarantee that they won't spoil for a long time. It's just like making red ginseng. It's very useful. Young Master Yamamoto can't finish them all at once, but you can keep them and eat them slowly. With so many radishes, even if young Master Yamamoto finds 100 people to eat them, it will take a few days. The person in charge of receiving Yamamoto praised himself. The person who carried the radishes also showed an expression of "we have done a good job." Yamamoto stood in front of the cooked radishes, motionless. He didn't even blink. If it weren't for the violent rise and fall of his chest and the 2 streams of blood coming out of his nose, it would be easy to think that he was a wooden man. "Why did you steam them?" "I want raw radishes, not cooked ones. I will steam them slowly when I go back." Yamamoto began to mumble incoherently. "Young Master, you can't steam them slowly." After a period of time, the radishes can't be eaten. Biting them in the mouth is like chewing white rice. "Young Master Yamamoto, do you want to find a carriage yourself, or do we send a carriage to transport them to the place?" The person in charge of receiving Yamamoto asked kindly, "Where is Jiangx and Shaoqing? I want to see him." Yamamoto didn't intend to accept so many cooked radishes and radish seeds. He wanted to plant them into ginseng. How could he plant them when they were cooked? In reply to young Master Yamamoto, His Excellency went to meet the people of the Zhang family and Wang family. The people sent by the 2 families said that they wanted to take away all the radishes and radish seeds. They should be arranging people to count them. Fortunately, young Master Yamamoto said it in time. Otherwise, it would be impossible to take out so many radishes and radish seeds. "We are also not sure. We are afraid that the people of the Zhang family and Wang family will know." "Young Master Yamamoto, shouldn't you ask people to transport these 2 things away quickly? Otherwise, if other people see them, it will be hard to explain. The people of the Zhang family and Wang family can walk freely in the Serenade Temple." The person in charge seemed a little anxious and urged. Yamamoto wanted to turn himself into a radish, then climb into the pot and steam himself. Yamamoto wiped the nosebleed with his hand and said to the person in charge, "This is not what I want. I can't transport it away. I want raw radishes. What's the use of cooked radishes?" "Young Master Yamamoto, don't you want to eat steamed radishes? Do you have other uses? Oh, why didn't young Master Yamamoto say so earlier? It's too late now. Most of the money has probably been deposited into the account. It can't be returned to young master. The raw radishes and radish seeds are all under the care of the people of the Zhang family and Wang family. What should we do? What should we do?" The person in charge rubbed his hands and said anxiously. He also walked around Yamamoto. At this moment, Jiang Tsun finally showed up. He looked very nervous. He came in from outside the yard. As soon as he saw Yamamoto, he said, "Brother Yamamoto, hurry up and transport these things away." The people of the Zhang family and Wang family said that they want to have a look at the Sinongsi temple and see where the money of the two families is spent. "I don't want so many cooked radishes. I want raw radishes. My money." Yamamoto saw the person in charge and put forward his request. Chapter 704. Yamamoto watched as the others hurriedly loaded the radishes and radish seeds that he didn't want onto the cart and then transported them out, forcibly claiming that he had bought them. Not long after they were transported away, the Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family members strolled into the courtyard. Yamamoto recognized the person when he saw him. It was Ernyu. He was the most valued person by Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. He didn't expect that the two of them would send him here. The journey was not short. It seemed that they really valued the radishes. Now he couldn't say anything and had to hide behind others to avoid being recognized. There were a few people following Ernyu. Yamamoto had never seen them before. He guessed that they hadn't followed Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan to Baoxing County. He tried his best to hide behind a person who had helped to carry the radishes out. This person was tall and strong, while Yamamoto was slightly shorter. He could hide behind this person, and as expected, he could hide behind him. Ernie was like an inspection leader. With his hands behind his back, he casually glanced around and said to Jiangxin, "Jiang Shaoqing, why are you doing nothing here? You have to know that this place is also something that my master spent a lot of effort to get." Jiangxin didn't have the air of a Shaoqing at this time. He lowered his head and bent his waist, almost lying on the ground. When he heard Ernie's question, he nervously rubbed the hand by his side on his clothes and replied, "I just used it. I specialize in the smell of radishes. If you don't believe me, smell it. There is still the smell of radishes here." Yamamoto listened to Jiangxin's words behind others. He couldn't help but admire Jiangxin for being extraordinary. He could even say such things. Ernie really sniffed and nodded. "Well, there is indeed the smell of radishes. I don't know what kind of radishes they are. I'll try them too." Jiangxin's body trembled. Even Yamamoto secretly broke out in a sweat for Jiangxin, not knowing how Jiangxin would respond. At this time, the person who had just received Yamamoto suddenly said, "Jiang Shaoqing, there are radishes in the room. Why don't you take them out and try them?" As he spoke, he winked. Jiangxin was looking around anxiously. When he heard someone say that, he blinked and nodded in agreement. Soon, the person entered a room next door and came out with a plate of radishes. He walked past Yamamoto. Yamamoto glanced at it and was relieved. This plate was not the radishes he wanted to buy, but the one he had eaten with Jiangxin yesterday. He didn't know why he had such radishes, but Ernie wouldn't continue to ask him. This radishes tastes taste. Now, S's tastes. This was the end of the inspection. Ernyo led the people to another place. When they were out of sight, Jiangxin exhaled as though he had collapsed. He wiped his sweat and asked, "Where did the radishes come from?" "I wanted to eat them, so I got someone to steam them. I didn't expect the Zhang family and the Wang family to come." The person in charge of receiving them didn't look relaxed. "Yamamoto, who also heaved a sigh of relief, remembered that the radishes and seeds he bought were all ripe. He said to Jiangxin, "What should I do about my radishes? As for that radish, we can only eat it first." Jiangxin's humble attitude changed as she replied, "But I don't want to eat steamed radishes." Yamamoto had to fight for himself. "Oh, didn't you prepare to steam them back then? Then you can't blame me for this. Do you want to get your money back? I can't take out the money I received. As for the rest, wait until the other accounts are sorted out. It's not good to take it out directly now." Jiangxin had gotten the money, so it wasn't easy to get him to take it out. His words were dignified, and there was no apologetic expression on his face. Yamamoto regretted it. He really wanted to grab Jiangxin and bite him a few times to vent his anger, but he knew he couldn't do that. The most important thing now wasn't losing 25,000 strings of cash, but how to get more seeds and radishes, not the ripe ones. Hearing the dissatisfaction in Jiangxin's words, he said with a smile, "How can we get the money back? That's what the Sinongsi deserves. What I mean is, can we get some radishes and seeds? Raw ones, not steamed ones." "Oh, this is difficult. Now that the Zhang family and the Wang family have come, and the price is not low. What's more, they are still sending people to check. What should we do?" Jiangxin looked embarrassed. If he didn't say that, Yamamoto would really think there was no hope. But when he heard him mention money, he had a little fantasy in his heart and said, "I wonder if Jiang Shaoqing can think of another way. It's easy to talk about money. You can do the same as the Zhang family and the Wang family. And you don't have to worry about the money from the last transaction. The steamed radishes are also good." Yamamoto had always wanted to buy it at a lower price than the Zhang family and the Wang family, but he didn't expect that things would go wrong like this. In order to grow the ginseng, he had to bear the pain and pay a high price. Compared to the price of the ginseng, this money was still affordable. He didn't expect that when he specifically mentioned the 20,000 strings of cash, Jiangxin didn't appreciate it and put on a helpless look. "I don't think it's possible. It's difficult, really difficult, unless, Jiang Shaoqing." "Unless what?" Yamamoto saw a chance and asked. "Unless the price is higher, I can think of a way to get some from the people of the Zhang family, but not a lot. As for the seeds, 50 coins for one, and the radishes are 200 coins. In total, I can sell 1 million seeds and 100,000 radishes to Brother Yamamoto. Do you want them?" Jiangxin took the initiative and began to act according to the script, with an attitude of "it doesn't matter if you don't want to." Yamamoto's nose was bleeding again. This time it was not because he was scared, but because he was angry. There were so many seeds and radishes, but he said it was not a lot. If it was 50 coins, it would be 50,000 strings of cash for the seeds, plus 20,000 strings of cash for the radishes, a total of 70,000 strings of cash. Together with the gifts and the money for the steamed seeds and radishes, it was almost 100,000 strings of cash. Yamamoto pondered for a while. Just when Jiangxin showed an impatient expression, he finally said, "Can you give it on credit first and give it to the Sinongsi temple at this time next year? It's really difficult to raise money now." It was not that Yamamoto couldn't give it, but he didn't want to give it immediately. The capital was the capital of the Tang Empire. How could the Japanese not put more money here for emergencies? But once the other 70,000 strings of cash were taken out, the capital's money would be easily insufficient at a critical time. Therefore, Yamamoto also wanted to learn from the Zhang family and the Wang family. First, he took the radishes back, sold the ginseng, and then returned the money. Jiangxin shook his head and smiled. "Yamamoto, I have to wait, but the Zhang family and the Wang family may not. I can't go over and tell them to quietly give out the radishes and seeds and give them the money at this time next year, right?" The people around the Sinongsi temple also nodded. Indeed, they couldn't do this. Even if they said it, the other party would not agree. Yamamoto didn't believe that they really needed so much money, but he couldn't think of a better way. He hesitated and said, "Then can you buy less? It's good that you don't buy. You don't have to spend money." Jiangxin replied, "Okay, I'll buy it. When I find someone to raise the money, you must leave the seeds and radishes." Yamamoto compromised and didn't delay any longer. He hurriedly left to get the money. This time, the money that the country put in the capital of the Tang Empire was basically gone. Yamamoto, who came back with the money, finally got his wish and shipped the radishes and seeds away. As for the steamed radishes, he would dry them and eat them as vegetables. They were very expensive, so he couldn't bear to throw them away. After buying the radishes and seeds, he still had to buy a thermometer and prepare other things. Yamamoto didn't stay in the capital for long. He hired a boat and got someone to load the things. He rushed to the Four Seas Academy. He estimated that he would still lose a lot of radishes when he arrived. The journey was not short. Jiangxin, who had received 100,000 strings of cash, began to hold a celebratory banquet in the Sinongxi Temple. 100,000 strings of cash was enough to use for many years. Although he didn't sell all the seeds and radishes, it was still not bad. The news quickly spread to Li Longji, who had found time to watch the craftsman competition today. Li Longji, who was in a good mood, was even happier this time. He said to Zhang Shuo, who had also come this time, "Minister Zhang, what do you think? Divine and supernatural abilities. In the next few years, there is no need to pay the Sinongxi Temple any more money. This official can't do that." Zhang Shuo replied. It sounded good, but Gao Lishir, who was standing at the side, frowned. If that was the case, wouldn't he be praising Xiaobao and Cuckoo? What did he mean by divine and supernatural abilities? Could it be that he was more powerful than the emperor? God. Thinking of this, Gao Lishir didn't say anything. Instead, he observed Li Longji. He wanted to see what the emperor was going to say and what kind of expression he would have. He wanted to think of a way to help Xiaobao and Cuckoo get away with it. Li Longji still had the same smile on his face. He chuckled and said, "Yes, does he look like the reincarnation of Zhuge Liang? Perhaps he's not inferior to Zia." Good. Hearing Li Longji's words, Gao Lishir was relieved. The emperor didn't see Xiaobao and Cuckoo as threats. Instead, he protected them and warned Zhang Shuo. The corners of Zhang Shuo's mouth twitched as he flattered. It's precisely because of a wise emperor that they can have such talents. Then, Minister Zhang, when the two of them manage to make Buxin County prosperous, what position should we give them? Li Longji asked again. Zhang Shuo really wanted to say that he should bring Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan to the capital, but he also knew that the emperor didn't intend to do so. If he really said it, it would easily cause the emperor to be unhappy. After pondering for a while, he said, "Why don't we see what Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan think? If they still want Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan to stay in the county, then we'll do as they want. If they want to enter the capital, then it's not impossible." That was indeed the case. When the time came, it would depend on where Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan wanted to go. But when it came from Zhang Shuo's mouth, the purpose was different. It was as if he was telling Li Longji that his words didn't count, and neither did Li Longji. The one who had the most say was the other party. Li Longji closed his eyes and let out a soft snort. He didn't say anything else. Gao Lishir stood at the side with his head lowered. He appeared very respectful, but in his heart, he was cursing Zhang Shuo. He knew why Zhang Shuo was targeting Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family. It wasn't because of power. Recently, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family had begun to interfere in the upcoming ceremony. They arranged for more than 10 people to enter the ceremony. They were all low-ranking officials, and they didn't have any relationship with Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family. They weren't people from Jinjia Academy, and they weren't from Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family in Zhuangzi. Among them, there weren't any students from Zhuangzi's restaurant or Zhuangzi that were rescued by Zhuangzi's restaurant every year. Among the more than 10 officials, the highest rank was secondary class, rank 6. Once they were able to participate in the ceremony, they would be directly promoted to rank 5. This was a line, and many people couldn't even think of entering rank 5 in their lifetime. Zhang Shuo seemed to want to arrange more of his own people. Although the name list hadn't been fixed, there were already signs of it. Now, there were many officials who wanted to get in touch with Zhang Shuo. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family wanted to occupy more than 10 positions, so Zhang Shuo couldn't allocate many positions. Gao Lishir thought so, but he didn't say it out loud. Even when he was alone with Li Longji, he didn't say it out loud. This was because there was still no final conclusion. Besides, all the civil and military officials were under Zhang Shuo's control, who wouldn't listen to him. After Zhang Shuo finished speaking, Li Longji didn't say anything. He also didn't care about the craftsman competition below. He seemed to be tired and was preparing to take a good rest in the stands. After an hour, he opened his eyes and said, "Let's go back." A group of people escorted Li Longji back to the palace. Gao Lishir helped Li Longji settle down and let him sleep. He immediately wrote a letter, truthfully writing down what Zhang Shuo had said in the stands today. He had someone send it to Baoxin County as quickly as possible. In Baoxin County, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, who were still busy building models, both sighed at the same time when they received Gao Lishir's letter. Wang Wan shook her head. "I originally thought that he was a pretty good head of the secretariat and wanted to help him. I didn't expect that as soon as someone touched his authority, he would start to attack. Fine, if he wants to die, then we don't have to worry about him. Withdraw all the people we have to arrange and let him put his own people in. This is truly a disaster brought on by the heavens. There are ways to go against it, but there is no escape from the evils brought on by oneself. The people we chose were all people who didn't get along with him. If he agreed, everyone would be happy and maintain the balance. If he didn't agree, then we just had to wait. There will always be a chance for revenge." Zhang Xiaobao wasn't familiar with history. He had only heard about Zhang Shuo's matter from Wang Wan. At that time, he also wanted to help Zhang Shuo. After all, Zhang Shuo still had the ability. However, the most difficult thing to understand in this world was the human heart. Even though he had studied many kinds of psychology, there were times when it was still useless. Hearing Wang Wan's regretful words, he said, "In the end, he didn't die, right? Who knows? Since we can get Feng Chan to come a year earlier, the ending might be different. Maybe he really is fine this time. Let's just wait and see. It's not that we don't want to just be bystanders, but we want to be participants. I guess there will be things to do in the future." Wang Wan didn't have to help Zhang Xiaobao, but she and Zhang Xiaobao now liked to change the fate of others. Of course, in the process, they also had to move according to fate. She felt that it was a very interesting thing, just like what someone once said, "Fighting with the heavens, endless joy. Fighting with the earth, endless joy. Fighting with people, endless joy." Although in the end he still couldn't win against the heavens, and also couldn't win against people, and lost the most promising family member. After all, he had fought. Zhang Xiaobao saw that he couldn't change others this time, so he didn't think too much about it. Looking at the gradually increasing number of scholars and gentry in front of him, he said, "The effect is not bad. The effect is pretty good. Ever since we started using the excuse of learning from officials, many people who aren't officials have come to join in the fun. They all want to have a chance to interact with Li Longji. If one day, Li Longji suddenly becomes interested and casually asks a random person while wandering around, they can tell him about what they saw here. Even if Li Longji and the others can't see it, they can go back and publicize it vigorously, thus attracting more people's attention. It seems that humans have never stopped pursuing benefits. Of course, not to mention humans, even animals have to fight for territory." Yamamoto went to the Four Seas Academy. 100,000 strings of cash. I want to see what he will do after he fails. That's a lot of money. Wang Wan suddenly thought of Yamamoto again. Now she felt that Yamamoto was also a very interesting person. He believed everything and was too gullible. There was also a little respect. This respect was not because he was Japanese, but because he worked hard for his country. This kind of spirit was precious. I think he might commit suicide. Otherwise, where can he get so much money to compensate? 100,000 strings of cash all of a sudden. If it were any official, they wouldn't be able to bear it, let alone a person who thinks for his country. Zhang Xiaobao was not so kind as to help anyone. Whether Yamamoto lived or died in the end had nothing to do with him. Not 100,000 strings of cash, and the money to buy a thermometer. I guess some of them will die. Crocodiles are easy to catch, but what about whales? The current Japan is not the Japan of the future. You can kill them however you want. Sending a ship is likely to be knocked over by a whale. If you make the wrong choice and encounter a killer whale, oh, it's troublesome. Do you think there are killer whales here? I don't know. There should be. After all, it's different from our time. Many creatures are still there. Did we have any at that time? Zhang Xiaobao was not sure. He didn't pay attention to it. Who cares? Without killer whales, they won't be able to get anything good. Our family's boat won't help them. We don't even dare to touch it easily. Don't you think they killed too many whales at that time? There were also sharks. Wang Wan guessed that if it really didn't work, Yamamoto would hire her ship to help catch whales. Although this possibility was very small because there was a material needed in the recipe, she still said it in advance. If I were them, I would kill them too. How can I get more money if I don't kill them? There are a lot of good things on whales and sharks. Their country doesn't have too many resources. This is why they always like to invade. There are many earthquakes and few resources. If they don't find ways to occupy other people's land, what will they do if one day the island is gone? I understand. Zhang Xiaobao said very rationally. While the two of them were talking, Old Man Pai and Old Man Yao were also busy. They had nothing to do, so they wanted to teach Xiao Bei and the others. In the end, Xiao Bei and the others didn't like to listen to the two old men's boring stories at all. They couldn't stay idle, so they came here to be tour guides for others. Some things were right and some were wrong. The two of them were very happy. Old Man Chang also performed a dance with a legend. His body was not bad, and he could even pick up a few weapons to play with. This made the people who came over feel very satisfied. While they were talking and playing, a servant in Old Man Pai's house rushed over and whispered a few words in Old Man Pai's ear. After hearing the servant's words, Old Man Pai stared and scolded. Boolsh *T. What do you mean by not enough water? Did they use all the water in that river? Why can't they do something for the country and the people? What's wrong? Did something go wrong with luring the Ru River here? Old Man Yao asked when he heard Old Man Pai scolding him. The people we sent came back and said that they didn't use enough water in Xian Kai County, so they couldn't bring it here. That's the Ru River, not a small river. Not enough? Even if they flushed Xian Kai County back and forth a few times, the Ru River wouldn't be much less. It seems like they made the wrong decision to discuss it first. Old Man Pai gasped for breath and was very angry. When Old Man Yao heard that it was really this matter, he smacked his lips and said, "There's nothing we can do. Otherwise, we wouldn't have informed them and just went to lure them. I don't believe they would dare to stop us." Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were worried about Grandpa Bai's health. When they saw him like this, they hurriedly ran over to ask and comfort Old Man Pai. After knowing the situation, Zhang Xiaobao smiled and didn't say anything. Wang Wan curled her lips and said, "We were talking nicely," but they actually didn't agree. When the time comes, won't they also get benefits? Besides, the Ru River isn't a river in Xian Kai County. It's just a river that flows through it. I can't lead the troops, otherwise I would have attacked them. Wang Wan smiled after she finished speaking. She said that she wanted to lead the troops, but even if she had troops, she couldn't use such an excuse to attack others. She sighed and said to Zhang Xiaobao, "Do you think they want some extra benefits?" It's possible. Their officials want to get benefits for themselves. Another possibility is that they are specifically targeting us. Some are afraid of us, some respect us, some like us, and some look down on us. We're not afraid of them wanting benefits, but we're afraid that they won't agree just to suppress us. Zhang Xiaobao analyzed, but his face didn't show any signs of annoyance. It was as if the situation was very simple and could be easily solved. Old Man Zhang, holding his broadsword, came up and said, Yes, let's beat them up. Let's see if they can draw a river here. Zhang Xiaobao smiled and flattered. Grandpa Zhang, you're still young. You don't have to do such a small thing yourself, right? Well, that's fine. I'll leave it to you juniors. Old man Chang played with his knife a few more times and said to Zhang Xiaobao, very respectfully. Zhang Xiaobao pulled Wang Wan back and said, go back and make some arrangements. When the time comes, I'll ask them to beg for peace and let us lure the river. It'll be bad if we can't deal with them. Chapter 705. The cause of the incident was that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan wanted to turn Baoxing County into a Shan County. They needed to keep up with the population. If they wanted to increase the population, they needed to have a good economy. Furthermore, education and medical care could also play a big role. The two of them wanted to bring a river over. There was a small river here, but boats couldn't travel on it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have to dig a well to get water for irrigation. Not far from Baoxing County, there was a big river called Ru River. It was a very big river, but it wasn't in Baoxing County. Instead, it was in Xian Kai County. Occasionally, there would be people fishing on the river when there weren't many boats coming and going. There were also many boats that specialized in transportation, so the flow of traffic was very large. After bringing the river over, there wouldn't be much of an impact on the downstream. It could even allow people who wanted to visit Baoxing County to come over by boat. Only by thinking of the customers would they be able to take the business away. The two of them originally wanted to use administrative means to solve the problem, which was to submit a report to the imperial court. Then, the imperial court would send someone over to talk about this matter. However, if that was the case, Xian Kai County wouldn't get any credit. If they cooperated well, they would be following orders. If they didn't, they would have to bear the responsibility. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan didn't want to do that. They planned to go to Xian Kai County personally to talk to the officials of Xian Kai County. They wanted to talk to each other and put the matter on the table. In the end, Old Man Pai took over the matter. He said that he would send his family to ask about the situation first. If the other party agreed, he would go over. He didn't want to embarrass the other party if they didn't give him face if he rushed over. After sending people over, they came back saying that they failed. Old Man Pai couldn't help but be angry. He thought that the other party didn't give him face. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan wanted to know what the officials of Xian Kai County were thinking. Were they preparing to get benefits, or were they just targeting the two of them? As soon as the two of them returned to the Yamen, they applied for leave from Hiwei. They only needed to take 3 days off. They still had enough time to play in Xian Kai County for 2 days. Now, the officials in the Yamen had never taken a break. They wholeheartedly devoted themselves to the construction of Baoxing County. They vowed to turn Baoxing County from Zhongxian to Shangxian so that they could pay more tax to the imperial court. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan also did not hide this matter from Hiwei. Hiwei very happily allowed the two of them to have a 3-day fight. The two of them then led the first unit of the seedling protection team, 100 people, and set off on horseback, heading towards the northeast direction at full speed. Cuckoo, don't you think we brought too many people? It's a bit of a nuisance. Zhang Xiaobao rode his horse and galloped on the road, stirring up clouds of dust. Although there were only 100 or so horses, their momentum was not small. The commoners in front all gave way and stood to the side to eat the dust. Not much. What are our identities now? If we brought too few people, it's very likely that a spy from another country hiding in Tang will have a chance to make a move. We are in the open while they are in the dark. It's very easy for something to happen. The commoners should bear with it for now. Once the water is brought over, their lives will be better. Wang Wan glanced at the commoners who avoided the dust and said to Zhang Xiaobao, perhaps the commoners were already used to it, so they really did not care. They did not even cover their mouths to block the dust. Instead, they were very curious about Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's trip. When the dust had settled, They still stood there and looked in the direction that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan left. There were others beside them who said a few words, guessing what Xiaobao and Cuckoo were doing. Baoxing County and Xinsai County were very close to each other. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's cavalry only took 4 hours to reach the place, and they were still not fast enough. They walked forward and came to the Rushui River. Looking at the boats shuttling back and forth on the river, the two of them searched for a while, but did not find a bridge. Perhaps it was because it was not easy to build a bridge. The Rushui River's current was not small, and a simple rope bridge could be built between the two banks. However, there were probably not many people coming and going, and the boats were constantly moving, so no one built it. When the boatman on the river saw the approaching group, he raised his voice and asked if they wanted a boat. There were many people and many horses. The boatman found another boat, and the two boats began to move back and forth. The trip was really not easy. 100 people and 100 horses? It took half an hour to reach the other side of the river. At this time, there were many commoners on the other side of the river who were watching the show. To be precise, they were waiting for the boats. Aya, this river is really good. When we reach Baoxing County, the place where the water is diverted will be more lively. When the time comes, we will think of a way to build a bridge so that people can comfortably watch the boats coming and going. Zhang Xiaobao did not forget to look back at the river and praise it as he urged his horse forward. Then you have to get them to agree to divert the water first. Have you thought about it carefully? Are you sure you don't want to use administrative means directly? As Wang Wan spoke, she slowed down when she passed by a woman who was carrying a child. She took out a piece of fruit candy from her pocket and bent down to stuff it into the mouth of a child who was curiously looking at her. When the child was drooling and staring at the candy, she caught up with Zhang Xiaobao. The child's mother was surprised for a moment, but she was not worried anymore. She felt that the little girl on the horse did not look like a bad person. Moreover, people who could lead such a large group would not hurt their own child. The current public security was still pretty good. She thanked them from afar and carried the child as she walked. She said that she had met a benefactor today and that something good would definitely happen. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan rushed for another hour and finally entered the county town of Xinsai County. They dismounted and pulled the reins as they walked and looked around. They looked at the shops on both sides of the main street, felt the ground under their feet, and observed the clothes and facial expressions of the people passing by. Xiaobao, it seems that Xinsai County is not bad. At least the people are doing well. It is much better than when we first arrived at Baoxing County. It is not a prosperous place, but it can still be like this. The officials must have worked hard. After looking around, Wang Wan praised the officials of Xinsai County. Zhang Xiaobao was a little disapproving. It is so close to such a big river, and it is also an important place. It would be strange if it is poor. Besides, it may not be the work of one official. It will naturally be prosperous after generations. The two talked and looked around as they walked. Asking for directions was done by others. In fact, they didn't need to ask much. Generally, the county yamen was beside the main street. As for whether it looked good or not, it depended on whether the officials repaired the yamen. This time, it didn't take long for the group to arrive at the yamen of Xinsai County. There was also a drum at the entrance of Xinsai County. The drum was very old, but it could still be beaten. The door of the yamen was open, but it was not broken. Two yamen runners were standing on both sides of the door, chatting idly. When Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's group arrived, the two yamen runners glanced at them. When they saw that no one was wearing an official's uniform, they ignored them and continued chatting. Please help to inform them that Baoxing County's Registrar Zhang Xiaobao and Deputy County Magistrate Wang Wan are on vacation. They are passing by this place and would like to see Lord Feng. Zhang Xiaobao took out his and Wang Wan's name cards, walked in front of a yamen runner, and handed them to him. He didn't ask his subordinates to give them to him to show the seriousness of the etiquette. The yamen runner, who was given the name cards by Zhang Xiaobao, was stunned. He carefully looked at Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, then said wait, and turned to report. He didn't seem to have a good attitude. The other Yamen runner also looked at them indifferently. He didn't say anything and didn't do anything else. The look in his eyes showed that he believed Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's identities. It was estimated that the two people's unique age advantage made it easy for others to believe them. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan stood outside and watched the Yamen of Xiankai County. They waited for a quarter of an hour. Not only County Magistrate Feng Changgong didn't come out, but the Yamen runner who just entered also seemed to have disappeared. Even the two officials didn't come to see them. Wang Wan was a little unhappy. If the master didn't come out and was busy, at least let the Yamen runner come out and say something. Or let them wait for a while, or go to another place to rest. What was the meaning of this? At this time, the weather was very hot. The group and the horses were very uncomfortable standing under the sun. Zhang Xiaobao didn't say anything and continued to watch the passers-by. He was also watched by others. After waiting for another quarter of an hour, there was still no one inside. Zhang Xiaobao thought for a while and said to Wang Wan, "Why don't we find a place to rest first and wait for County Magistrate Feng to finish his work? Or we can wait until dusk when he doesn't want to work." Wang Wan nodded helplessly. "Okay, I don't know if there's a better place here. Anyway, we'll be in Xiankai for 2 days. It's convenient to find a place to rest first." As they talked, the two were ready to pull their horses and lead the group to find a restaurant or inn to rest. At this time, the Yamen runner who just entered finally came out with Zhang Xiaobao's goods and Wang Wan's name tags in his hands. He said to the two of them, "The county magistrate isn't here. If there's anything, come back tomorrow. The county is short of water recently. The magistrate must have gone to see the river." Zhang Xiaobao calmly took back the name tags and said to the Yamen runner, "When you bring County Magistrate Feng back, tell him that there's a lucrative business coming." Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan did not believe that County Magistrate Feng was not here. He just did not want to see the two of them, but they felt uncomfortable. If he did not want to see them, he should have told them earlier. Why did he make them wait for so long outside? Leading the horses, the group began to look for a place to rest. On the way here, there was a restaurant that looked good. If they continued to walk forward and could not find a better restaurant, they would turn back. After Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan left, the two Yamen runners began to talk about what had just happened. The Yamen runner who stayed here asked the one who went in, "Why were you gone for so long?" "I went to the back to rest for a while. After a short nap, I went to find the master. The master said that he did not want to see me and asked me to say what I said just now. I would not let them leave so soon. If they want to rob our business, we have to let them suffer more. Just now when you were outside, they were very anxious, right?" The Yamen runner who went in said to the Yamen runner who stayed outside with a smile. The Yamen runner who stayed outside was obviously a little dissatisfied. If he had known earlier, he would have gone in and slept for a while. Now that others had taken advantage of him, he listened to the Yamen runner's question and said, "They did not look anxious. When they were waiting there, they were quite leisurely. If what you did today was known to them, you would be in trouble. You dared to play tricks on the officials. Today, you can treat me to a meal later, but I won't say it. They are now on holiday and have nothing important to do. Otherwise, why would they give me a name tags instead of an official card? They are not wearing their official robes, so I am not afraid. Last time, you still owe me 2 meals. Just right, I will treat you today. You can treat later." The Yamen runner who went in did not compromise at all. Seeing that no one was paying attention, he leaned against the door at the back and closed his eyes to continue sunbathing. Perhaps he did not sleep enough and was sleepy again. When the Yamen runner who stayed outside saw that his threat had failed and he had lost a meal, he said regretfully, "If I had known earlier, I would have asked them for some money. If they did not give it, I would not have helped to inform them. Don't you think you are becoming more and more foolish? You can't even do such a small thing well. Otherwise, why would I need to pay for it? Let's make a deal. The 2 debts in the past will be counted as one today. It is still the small shop from before. It cannot be changed. It is all your fault that you did not get the money. They are very powerful outside, but when they return to the Tang Empire, aren't they obedient? The master keeps saying that they will rob our business. What business do you think it is? They want to lead the water over. Of course, it is the ferry business. Why is there not a bridge here? Originally, there was a wooden bridge that had not been repaired for many years. In addition, someone probably destroyed it. Now, we can only rely on the ferry business. Last month, there were a total of 12 ferry boats, and the tax paid was 6 strings of coins. If we let people lead the water over, wouldn't it mean that there are people from other places rowing boats over here? Naturally, we can't let them ruin the business. As for asking for money, I don't dare. I was just informing them normally. If I took the money, they are likely to remember me when they are rejected. When the time comes, they will complain that I have taken the money. That is their best excuse. I am not stupid. The yamen runner who went and found an excuse for himself. After saying these words, he kept muttering about what he wanted to eat later. When he heard the names of 2 dishes, the yamen runner who stayed outside did not listen. I did not say that I would treat you to so much. In the past, we ate what we ate. If you are not stupid, then there are no fools in this world. Do you want to rob a business just for 6 strings of coins? In my opinion, it must be a big business, a very big one. Let's wait and see. The yamen runner who stayed outside also wanted to lean against the door for a while like the other yamen runner, but he could not squeeze in the door. He swayed back and forth, which was very uncomfortable. He could only yawn and spread his legs to stand more comfortably. Yes, no. You keep watch. I will sleep for a while so that I have the energy to drink. The yamen runner who went and closed his eyes tightly and fell asleep while enjoying the warmth of the sun. It seemed that he had trained the ability to sleep often and could sleep like this. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang, who were looking for a place to stay, walked forward. After walking for about 500 steps, they finally saw another inn. It was similar to the one they saw before. The 2 were not willing to walk back, so they chose to stay here. They asked people to arrange 2 big courtyards and looked after the horses. They went in and casually ordered a few dishes. As for the people who followed them, they would go and order their own food. Xiao Bao, do you see anything? Is it that Feng Changgong does not like us? He is obviously inside, but he made us wait for such a long time. He is obviously looking down on us. Wang Wan and Zhang Xiaobao did not order wine. She saw a plate with a lot of soup, so she poured it into her bowl and swallowed it. She asked Zhang Xiaobao. Zhang Xiaobao also felt uncomfortable in his heart. After all, the sun was not weak outside, and they came all the way here. He was already tired, and now he was even more tired. When he heard Wang Wan's question, he replied, "We don't need to wait until tomorrow. We will sleep first. At night, we will ask people to prepare a gift to see if he likes money." I don't think so. If he really likes money, then he should have come out to welcome us. Who doesn't know that we are rich? He must think that he is only a 7th grade official. It is not easy for him to get such a position after living for so long, but us 2 children are already 9th grade officials. This is called jealousy. He is jealous of our future achievements, so he found a reason to not agree to let us use the river. Hurry up and use your idea. If I am not treated well this time, I will not let them have an easy time when they come to find us. Wang Wan was very vengeful. Today, she hated Feng Changgong. She was determined to get back at him in the future instead of using people to do it now. Zhang Xiaobao nodded and said, "Don't worry. It is useless to be anxious about this kind of thing. Besides, he does have a reason to not be afraid of us. After all, Xiankai County is an important place. In fact, in my opinion, it is the same as ours, a middle county. The population is obviously not enough. Isn't it just a river? Who says it isn't? In fact, if we check normally now, Xiankai County is written as a middle county in the book. It is a waste to let them use the Ru River. They have such a good resource, but they don't know how to develop it properly. Wang Wan was really hungry. After talking to Zhang Xiaobao, she stopped talking and ate with all her might. After a while, a bowl of rice was in her stomach. She felt that it was not full enough, so she asked the waiter to bring her another bowl. She put half of the rice into her bowl and poured the rest into Zhang Xiaobao's bowl. She said, "I think the best gift is money. Give him a cart full of money and see if he will accept it. If we can't reach an agreement with him, it'll be very easy for him to use this to impeach us. Zhang Shuo might even use this as an excuse to attack us. Even if Li Longji manages to suppress him in the end, he'll still write us a letter to let us know that he's helping us, and that he's been of great help." Zhang Xiaobao said and began to eat faster. He didn't eat much and just stared at the food. When he was almost full, there were still 2 mouthfuls of rice left. He forced himself to eat it, rubbed his stomach, burped, and went back to the place where he slept. He directly lay on the bed. In the Yamen of Xianlai County, the county magistrate Feng Changgong was discussing something with the secretary and the county magistrate. They were talking about the arrival of Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. County magistrate Feng first told them what he had said today, and then said, "I guess they are waiting anxiously, so they came in person. Think about it. Do you really want them to lead the water to Xianlai County? I think we still can agree. It doesn't matter whether they lead the water or not, but once they do, the lives of the people in their county will be better, and the people in our county will easily go to their side. At that time, not to mention keeping the middle county, it is likely that we will fall to the lower county. The population of the county will soon be enough. Once it is enough, this county will no longer be middle county, but upper county. Our class will also be promoted. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's family is powerful, so we can't compromise with them. Otherwise, there will be no hope for us in this life." The secretary picked up the tea and held it in his hand without drinking. He talked about his opinion. The county magistrate next to him also supported this matter and said, "I also don't think we can get the benefits we deserve by doing things with them, unless they are willing to send us to the capital to be officials. Otherwise, we will never agree to let them lead the water to Xianlai County. Once they lead the water to Xianlai County, it is also convenient for the people in our county to go there. I think the current situation is pretty good. The people coming from Rushui who want to go to Baoxing County must stop at this county first, and then they can change to the overland route. I think we should do, as Darren suggested, build a pier by Yuha. When the time comes, we can build a beautiful restaurant on the pier. Just like what Zhang Zhong did in Wangjiang County of Shuzhou, he built a bridge and then built a restaurant on an island that is not close to each other. He made a lot of money. When we also open a restaurant, even if we have to buy it with money, we must buy the population of less than 5,000 people. We can't just build a restaurant, but also let the people in our county set up stalls next to the restaurant. This way, we can collect more taxes and arrange for people we like to go there to make money. It can be said that Zhang Zhong is a local official. Didn't he let the people do things and find things for the people to make the county prosperous? If he can do it, so can we." The registrar official added again. Hearing the two people's words, County Magistrate Feng felt that it was very reasonable, but he always felt that something was going to happen. The most important thing now was to pull in hundreds of people from other places. As long as the number of people was enough, he could apply to make Zhong County online. Although it was an important place now, the official's expression did not change because of whether it was important or not. He had inexplicable concerns in his heart, so he said to the two people, "I always feel that things are not that simple. What if Zhang Xiaobao plays tricks? If we submit a memorial to the imperial court and insist on leading the current Rushui to Baoxing County, can we stop him? Don't underestimate them." "You're right, sir. We can't underestimate them. Last time, the people sent by Biga's family may also find a chance to take revenge. Recently, nothing can happen. Be steady. We must be steady." The registrar official flattered County Magistrate Feng again, which made him very happy, but he said a little arrogantly, "Don't underestimate them. Don't be afraid of them. At the same time, don't forget to be vigilant against them, and don't be fooled in the end. If they come and say that they want to do business together, we can't agree. Even if they send money, we can't accept it casually. Otherwise, they will take advantage of us. The three people discussed together and soon reached an offensive and defensive alliance that they thought was beneficial to them. Once there was a bigger conflict, they had to unite together. They could not let one person bear it alone. Chapter 706. When night came, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, who had just woken up, went out with two people, not forgetting to bring gifts. On the way, Wang Wan asked Zhang Xiaobao, "What's your plan for bringing him food? It's okay if it's good stuff, but why do you have to buy food from ordinary people? Can he eat it? I want to see what kind of person he is, and whether he's worth my efforts. If he's just not afraid of power, even you and I won't take a liking to him. I'll help him and get him to the censorate. He'll do something there. It's better to have a different voice in this country. If he's just putting on an act and doesn't really care about the people, then there's no need for him to stay in this position. First, he offended Grandpa, then he offended you and me. How can we let him go?" Zhang Xiaobao explained to Wang Wan. Wang Wan opened the box next to her and said with a smile, "You're a powerful person. You're very unreasonable and not a good person. If someone offends you slightly, you'll make it difficult for them. If I have the ability to be powerful, why can't I be powerful? What's more, I don't have power over the people. Li Longji isn't powerful, Zhang Shuo isn't powerful, and our Yao Chong isn't powerful. According to what you said, no one in this world with a little ability is a good person. Why don't you talk to him nicely, and I'll wait for your good news outside." Zhang Xiaobao was really like what he thought. If Feng Changgong didn't satisfy him, he would get rid of him. Of course, he wouldn't directly find Li Longji to impeach him, but through other means. After all, he needed to find a good reason to impeach him. Wang Wan was just saying. She was a powerful person. She looked at the night and said, "The night here is really good. It's better than Suzhou. Of course, it's not as good as Sanshui County. If we can build a good restaurant near the Ru River and draw water to form a small lake, the night will be bright. In this kind of night, the stars are sparse, the moon is bright, and the lights of the ships are bright. It is really a beautiful scene. Find more craftsmen to help build a small bridge. I estimate that the tax collected in one night will not be small. Very soon, this place will become a county. Many people will break their heads to come here, and Feng Changgong will be promoted." Wang Wan said so. She really didn't expect that the most powerful of the three officials in Xingsai County really wanted to turn Zhongxian into Shangxian and be promoted. However, the three people didn't have the ability to accumulate experience like her and Zhang Xiaobao. She didn't know that many times after seeing a certain situation, they could immediately find a feasible way to apply it. At this time it was already night, and the front door was closed. Unless it was a very important matter, no one would go to the front door. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan went to the back door of the yamen and asked someone to knock on the door, saying that they wanted to see County Magistrate Feng. Feng Changgong didn't find an excuse to not see them this time, but he didn't come out to greet them. He sat in the study and asked someone to bring them in. When Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan entered the study room, Feng Changgong was holding a book and reading it. Zhang Xiaobao didn't know if he could read it. Anyway, Zhang Xiaobao didn't think he could read the contents of the book because there was only a small oil lamp. It was still far away, so he couldn't see the words in the book. Zhang Xiaobao asked someone to send the box to the servant, and then he said to Feng Changgong, "Greetings, County Magistrate Feng. I didn't expect that County Magistrate Feng is still studying poetry. You are very respectable." He was younger than his biological age, but at this time, he had to learn to speak like an adult. This was not the case of a junior meeting an elder. They were on the same level, and they were all officials. At this time, Wang Wan also said, "I wonder if County Magistrate Feng has eaten dinner yet. We brought some side dishes for Lord Feng." Speaking of side dishes, Wang Wan wanted to laugh. The food Zhang Xiaobao bought at a high price was really good. Feng Changgong couldn't pretend that he didn't see them this time. He acted as if he had just found Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. He hurriedly put down the book and said, "I didn't expect that County Magistrate Wang and Registrar Zhang would come so late at night. When I finished my work outside, someone reported to me. I thought it was dark, so I planned to visit you tomorrow, but you two actually came. You even brought food. I'm so sorry, so sorry. Come on, please sit down. Come on, serve tea. Please." Although he said please sit down, he didn't sit on the chairs that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan usually used, but on a futon. Feng Changgong didn't have a chair himself. He just put a small table in front of him. Soon, the servants served tea to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, and also put a small table in front of them. They respectfully left and closed the door. Zhang Xiaobao picked up the tea bowl, but didn't drink it. He looked at Feng Changgong and said, "County Magistrate Feng is really devoted to the people. When I came here in the daytime, I heard many people say good things about County Magistrate Feng. I wonder how County Magistrate Feng did when you looked at the water in the daytime." "Oh, it's difficult. The county is short of water, and there is only one river. Obviously, it's not enough. I can't think of a good way at the moment. I can only look at the water every day and try to think as much as possible. If there is a little idea that can make the people's life better, I will be satisfied. I heard that Registrar Zhang is very resourceful. I wonder if you can help me think of a way." "I'll wait for the people in the county to thank me first. Oh, and County Magistrate Wang, I also need to help a little." Feng Changgong heard the reproach in Zhang Xiaobao's words, but he didn't care. He emphasized that the county was short of water, and he was lying through his teeth. Zhang Xiaobao's impression of him suddenly became bad. What kind of reason was this? Was it because he looked down on him, and Wang Wan that he was obviously making things up? Zhang Xiaobao glanced at Wang Wan and saw that Wang Wan was staring at the tea bowl. He said, "When I came here, I saw that the Rushui River was not bad. There shouldn't be a shortage of water. Is it possible that the Rushui River can't supply the entire Xinsai County? To be honest, the real shortage of water is in Baoxing County. This time, we came here to discuss with County Magistrate Feng about the diversion of water. Once the diversion is successful, not only will the people in Baoxing County have better lives, but the people in Xinsai County will also have better lives. What do you think, County Magistrate Feng?" Zhang Xiaobao didn't want to beat around the bush anymore. He directly pointed out the purpose of his visit and wanted to see how Feng Changgong would answer. Wang Wan didn't look at the tea bowl this time. She added, "County Magistrate Feng, you probably haven't thought of the benefits of diverting water to Baoxing County. I'll talk to County Magistrate Feng now. If you divert the river, you can let the model land in Baoxing County receive more guests. If people come from the Rushui River, they can directly go to the model land. If there are more guests, you can build a sightseeing land between the two counties or at the place where the Rushui River is diverted, so that people who have finished visiting the model land can find a new sightseeing land. At that time, not only can it provide more income for the people in your county who can't find work, but it can also increase your county's tax revenue. You can even build a night market there for people to trade. You can also look for memorable handmade products in your county to buy and sell. It can also improve the economy of the two counties, if it's possible. County Magistrate Wang's idea is good, but many things can't be done with just a seemingly good idea. There are too many things involved. There are many people coming and going between the two counties, but with so many people coming and going, it's not easy to manage. We don't have enough yamen runners, and we can't let the yamen runners from Baoxing County work in our county. It's very, very difficult. County Magistrate Wang just said that he would bring me some food. Coincidentally, I'm a little hungry now. Why don't we try it together? When I go to Baoxing County next time, I'll definitely bring some food for you too." Before Wang Wan finished talking about the specific plan, Feng Changgong suddenly interrupted Wang Wan very rudely and changed the topic to food. Wang Wan was interrupted, so she didn't say anything. She signaled Zhang Xiaobao to do the talking, while she drank tea and chatted. Zhang Xiaobao's impression of Feng Changgong became worse. When Feng Changgong's servant brought the food to Feng Changgong's small table, he said, "It's not delicious food. We just happened to pass by a family, so we bought it by the way. We just ate and didn't eat it. Then I'll monopolize it." Feng Changgong didn't know what was in the box. He first opened the first box, and there was a rice ball in it. To be exact, it was a vegetable ball. It was stuck in the pot with wild vegetables and noodles, and it was a little mushy. Seeing the rice ball, Feng Changgong was unhappy. He thought that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan deliberately came here to laugh at him. So he took off the top layer of the rice ball, revealing the soup of wild vegetables. It was really wild vegetables, and there was no oil at all. Feng Changgong glanced at Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, but did not say anything. He continued to open the second box. This time, there were no wild vegetables inside, at least not on the top. Instead, there were two dishes. The first dish was 4 sparrows, which could be seen, especially the heads. The second dish was a worm that was not too big, the larvae of silkworms. They were green and a little black, which was disgusting to look at. He took off the top layer again, revealing the 2 dishes below. One was a wild vegetable with a little fat, and the other was a kind of wild vegetable that could always be seen by the river. There were a total of 4 dishes and 1 soup, plus the staple rice ball. Looking at these dishes, Feng Changgong asked with a sullen face, "I wonder what Registrar Zhang and County Magistrate Wang mean. Do you want to make fun of me with these dishes?" "County Magistrate Feng, just say that you don't like them. What do you mean by making fun of you? If you don't want to eat them, you can send them to us. We just came here in the evening and haven't eaten enough." Zhang Xiaobao had a 60% idea in his mind that he was going to punish Feng Changgong. He didn't want to eat these dishes, especially the sparrows and silkworms, which were all good things, and the wild vegetables were also green food. When he went to buy them, the family said that he was in a good time to eat so many good things. He gave Feng Changgong one last chance to see if he could grasp it. While talking, Zhang Xiaobao went to take the dishes himself. There was only a pair of chopsticks, so he picked up the food and fed it to Wang Wan. They ate happily in front of Feng Changgong. After a few mouthfuls, Zhang Xiaobao said to Feng Changgong, "County Magistrate Feng, you may think that these dishes are not good, but when I went to buy them, they were the best things in their houses. Except that the cooking skills are not as good as that of the chef, they are really good. What do you think, County Magistrate Feng? I think that since the food can be eaten by the people, the officials can also eat it. If you don't know the suffering of the people, how can you work for the people? Yes, you can take them back and eat them slowly. As for whether I can work or not, you don't have to worry about it. Registrar Zhang, don't you think that you are meddling too much? It's late at night. Forgive me for working hard in the daytime and can't accompany you. Take care." Feng Changgong's face was so gloomy that it was going to rain. He was taught a lesson by a little kid today and was driving them away. Zhang Xiaobao took 2 more boxes and put the unfinished food in them one by one. He said to Wang Wan, "There will be supper tonight. Since County Magistrate Feng is very tired, why don't we go back now?" "Well, County Magistrate Feng, sorry for bothering you today." Wang Wan picked up a box and said to Feng Changgong. Before leaving, she looked at County Magistrate Feng with pity in her eyes. She admitted that Zhang Xiaobao's meddling was indeed too broad, and his reach was a little too far. But so what? Zhang Xiaobao's personality was like that. Besides, who said that others were not allowed to meddle? In public, it was for the people. In private, it was to vent the anger of waiting for half an hour in the daytime. The 2 people left Feng Changgong's house without being sent off. They walked on the road without street lights. The 2 people behind them didn't want to break the quiet atmosphere. After walking 100 steps, Wang Wan asked Zhang Xiaobao, "When will we do it?" "We'll do it tomorrow. Since he can't be a good official and won't let us guide the river, then we'll change to a better one." "How dare he say that I'm meddling too much?" Zhang Xiaobao said unhappily. "Not at all. You're just using your identity as a county's registrar to teach another county's county magistrate a lesson. How can that be considered too much?" Then what were you in the past? Wang Wan said with a smile. That's right. Not at all. Tomorrow, I'll ask Li Longji to be an imperial censor. Let's see who still dares to say that about me. As the registrar, I have the responsibility to supervise. Who cares which county it is? In the past, there were people who chased after me across provinces. Zhang Xiaobao was determined to continue meddling. After Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan left, Feng Changgong sat alone in the study room. The more he thought about it, the angrier he got. Today, not only was he questioned, but he was also played. Who dared to treat him like this in Xiankai County? No, I can't let this go. I won't let you guide the river. Feng Changgong slapped the small table and said angrily. He originally wanted to send people to capture the two people and then teach them a lesson. However, when he thought about the 100 mounted guards Wang Wan brought, he dismissed the idea. He originally wanted to sleep, but now he couldn't sleep. He ordered people to invite the registrar and county magistrate to discuss the matter. He had to find trouble for Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Feng Changgong's call came at the right time. The registrar of Xiankai County and the county magistrate were not resting either. The two of them were drinking together. They arrived at the same time and asked people to serve the wine in dishes. Sir, you don't want to rest early? The registrar asked Feng Changgong as soon as he entered the study room. I want to sleep, but I was almost angered to death just now. I can't sleep. Feng Changgong repeated what Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan said to the two people. After he finished speaking, he was still panting. It was obvious that he was even angrier. How dare they come here? This is really too much. Sir, why don't you think of a way to teach them a lesson? I'll ask the Yamen runners to investigate. The registrar was also very angry. He was about to leave as he spoke, but he didn't leave quickly. He gave the others time to stop him. As expected, the county magistrate stopped him. How can the Yamen runners beat them? We should plan for the long term so that we won't be taken advantage of and ruin the big thing in Xiankai County. That's right. Come. Let's drink and discuss while we eat. Feng Changgong couldn't really let the registrar go out. If this kind of conflict really happened, the first one to be unlucky would be him and the others. After the registrar sat down angrily again, Feng Changgong said, the first thing to do is to prevent Baoxin County from diverting the water no matter what. The second thing is to quickly gather enough people in the county to avoid trouble. As for the third thing, you two should think about it more. Feng Changgong couldn't think of 2 points. He couldn't think of any. The registrar and the county magistrate also didn't have any good ideas. The two of them felt that the usual way to deal with people didn't seem to work on Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. They had connections in the capital. Although the three of them also had connections, their connections wouldn't take the initiative to provoke them for such a thing. After eating for a while, the registrar finally came up with a good idea. He said to Feng Changgong and the county magistrate, why don't we send people to the county and the counties around Baoxin County to say that Baoxin County wants to become a prefecture? Say that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan feel that their positions are too low. I believe that there will be people impeaching them. No. How can other people believe it? Why don't we change another one? Why don't we say that Baoxin County wants to divert water so that other people can't use it? Also, they don't want to continue farming and only want to do business. The county magistrate rejected the registrar's idea and put forward his own idea. However, Feng Changgong and the registrar shook their heads at the same time. Feng Changgong said, this won't work. It won't affect other counties. Besides, other people are not stupid. How can they not know that the water in Ru River is enough? After saying this, Feng Changgong's eyes suddenly lit up. He said, I have an idea. Come closer. While the three of them were thinking of ideas, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan also returned to the courtyard. Zhang Xiaobao sat there and thought for a while. Then he said to the guard standing at the door, find 2 more people. I have something to ask you to do. Remember to be discreet when you do it. Don't let other people find out. Chapter 707. How difficult was it to attack and annihilate each other in a single day? Set the chain link, take pity on the people, and treat them as the heavens. The night with turbulent undercurrents passed by as the first ray of sunlight reflected the red clouds. Feng Changgong and Zhang Xiaobao's plan was put into motion at the same time. All the yamen runners in Xian Kai County were mobilized, and notices were posted at the most eye-catching places in the county. Wang Dui, who was preparing to go to the 5 mu of soybean fields early to take a look, carried a wooden bucket in one hand and a hoe on the other and set off. After walking for a li, he was about to turn a corner when he suddenly saw a lot of people on the main road. Out of curiosity, he went over. After squeezing left and right, he finally saw the situation inside. There was a sign here, and a piece of yellow paper was pasted on it. There were words on the paper, written one after another. It looked very beautiful. As for what was written, he didn't know. What's the matter? Wang Dui didn't understand, so he asked the people around him. Isn't it written here? This county is about to become an upper county. The yamen found a Taoist priest and told him that we shouldn't move the land in the next 3 months to avoid provoking the Lord of the Earth. The number of ferries in the Rushui River will be reduced by half to avoid provoking the Water Dragon King. It also said that we shouldn't move or migrate, especially to the southwest. Before the person Wang Dui asked could say anything, someone on the other side told him. In fact, this person wasn't literate. He just stood there waiting for others to ask. Wang Dui was worried. My family's land is in the southwest. Can I go and take care of it? I haven't seen the beans for a few days, so I need to water them. Then go secretly. Don't let the Lord of the Earth know. The person who answered him gave him an idea. Wang Dui deeply agreed and thanked him. While no one was paying attention, he walked quietly to his family's soybean fields, nagging, I only water and weed, I don't move the land. Don't be angry, Lord of the Earth. It was indeed convenient to do things with administrative power. It only took a day for everyone in Xian Kai County to know about this matter. The number of people who went out decreased, and those who wanted to move stopped. Those who wanted to find time to develop wastelands did not dare to move. The number of boats that used to rely on ferrying on the river decreased by half, and they took turns to do so. Pedestrians on both sides of the river had to wait even longer before they could cross the river. Merchants who were transporting goods had no choice but to wait by the river. Even the business of the various shops in the county was affected. The gentry of the county complained to himself, but did not forget to ask for charms to be put up everywhere to ward off misfortune. Seeing that the plan was effective, Feng Changgong generously added a meat dish for the servants in his family. He also set up a banquet in the back courtyard and invited the registrar and the county magistrate to drink. While drinking, he asked the two of them, What do you think of this official's plan? Brilliant, really brilliant. It is said that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan are more intelligent than others. Today I know that they are still far inferior to you, sir. The registrar's eyes were also blurred, but he did not forget to praise the county magistrate. The county magistrate did not want to be left behind. He held up the wine bottle. Once you make a brilliant plan, who in the world dares to disobey? Feng Changgong was very happy to be praised. He drank a cup of wine with the county magistrate. He narrowed his eyes and said proudly, You two still need to learn more. This official's plan is not an ordinary plan. It is a chain plan. In 2 days, I will show you how powerful it is. Chain plan, it is actually a chain plan. I really didn't see it. I admire you. The registrar's face was full of admiration as he helped the county magistrate fill the wine bottle. Damn Feng Changgong. In order to deal with us, he dares to use the plan of disturbing the people. He is doomed. Fight is fight, but he uses the method of harming the interests of the people to attack the opponent. What kind of official is this? Even if you don't kill him, I will kill him. Wang Wan and Zhang Xiaobao were sitting by the window on the second floor of the restaurant. They were drinking a big bowl of wine when they heard the content of the announcement. They said angrily, not caring whether the people at the table next to them were listening or not. So he is blaming us? If we didn't come, he wouldn't use this plan. Well, it is a chain plan. No wonder there is a Ru River in the county that can enter the Huai River and the Jiang River. The lives of the local people are not better. He used all his skills in this aspect. We have to deal with him. But don't kill him. Just give him his official position and let him be an ordinary person. Zhang Xiaobao drank a big mouthful of wine while speaking and burped. He opened the window and felt the warmth of the sun. He opened his mouth and signaled Wang Wan to feed him a bean. Wang Wan was very considerate. She scooped half of the bean with a spoon and poured it into Zhang Xiaobao's mouth. I am too lazy to wait for others to serve me. Tell me, how did it become a chain plan? It is too salty and not delicious. I will cook it for you with preserved vegetables when we get home. Speaking of this, Zhang Jiuling should thank us. If we didn't ask him to search in the mountains and in the wild, there would be no preserved vegetables to eat. Chain plan? The next step, of course, is to find a Taoist, and then spread more vigorously that there is a disaster in the southwest. If it were me, I would do the same thing to stop the tourists from passing by Xingsai County and going to Baoxing County. I think he would be able to think of this and wouldn't be too stupid. Then I would use the final plan, which is to spread rumors in the counties around Baoxing County and isolate Baoxing County. It's a very vicious move. Zhang Xiaobao forced himself to swallow the salty bean and drank another mouthful of wine. When he felt better, he explained to Wang Wan. Vicious, really vicious. But no matter how vicious it is, it can't be compared to you. How can this be called a plan? We have tricked the people and let them see our methods. You still dare to talk about Zhang Jiuling. Before we came, Grandpa Zhang told me not to keep the preserved vegetables cooking method at home and spread it around. The place where the preserved vegetables are planted actually only ate preserved vegetables as rice. The people who go out to sea use preserved vegetables to wrap rice balls and fish. They even asked me why I collected so much preserved vegetables. What else can it be used for? The most classic part of preserved vegetables is, of course, braised pork. But Zhang Jiuling doesn't organize the raising of pigs there, so it's useless to leave it there. Most of it is shipped to Suzhou and let our Tang, and royal prince publicize it when the pigs are released this year. One is that the people can taste more, and the other is that it can provide more dishes for the local restaurants. Suzhou is an upper province and has a good economic foundation. In addition, there is our half-advanced bridge. Yes, half of it, who can put wooden planks on the bridge. With such an environment, they can have more income. Li Sun doesn't spend much of his own money, since he is willing to use it to do things for the people. Let him earn it. We only want 10% of the profit. Isn't that good? I realize that I have become more and more kind recently. I am like a saint. This time, I will help Li Sun with the things we are going to do in Xiankai County. Zhang Xiaobao already had a plan in mind. When he was going to do it in Suzhou, he would let the people of Between the Clouds and the Water follow suit and let them accept preserved vegetables. This would give the people of Lingnan Circuit another way to improve their lives. If it were someone else who heard Zhang Xiaobao's words, they might be moved. Wang Wan put her mouth close to the wine bowl. You are lying. Who would believe you? 10% is 10%, but it is an independent settlement. You are selling preserved vegetables to them. You actually signed a 20-year acquisition and processing contract with the local people there. Also, once preserved vegetables become popular in and around the capital, our inland river transport team will have something to do. Don't always put gold on your face in front of me. You are helping Li Sun get business. If I didn't hear your plan, I wouldn't have known that you were thinking so far ahead. Isn't it to avenge you? Who told him to treat your kindness as malice? I just added fuel to the fire and sped up the process. Wang Wan was very satisfied with Zhang Xiaobao's answer. She put some meat beside the fish gills into Zhang Xiaobao's mouth with her chopsticks and said, "If only all men were like you, then it will be troublesome. Won't they be bullied to death by women?" Of course, if all women are as capable as you, then it will be reasonable. Otherwise, it will depend on who can get more resources to survive. If you want to blame someone, blame it on you men. The rise of women's status is because capable men seduce them to show off. I don't want to eat anymore. Pack it up. When we go back, you can cook it and taste it. It will be a pity to throw it away. Wang Wan was very satisfied with many things today, especially Zhang Xiaobao, who stood up for her and schemed against others. However, she was not satisfied with the food in the restaurant. When the people at the table next to them heard the young lady say pack it up, they immediately took out the food boxes they carried with them. There were clean, empty plates inside, and they folded a few dishes and put them away. They had formed a habit. As long as the young lady and young master went out to eat, no matter what the price was, they would never throw away the leftovers. Even if there was only a vegetable bun left, they would take it back to eat. However, no one dared to laugh at the young master and young lady for being stingy and poor. Who would dare to laugh at the children of the Zhang family and Wang family of Sanshui County for being poor? When Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan left the restaurant with their people, a storyteller also came to the restaurant. However, today, the storyteller was not telling a story. Instead, he was talking about a serious matter. There is a bridge in the south and a road in the north. The 9 bends of the Yellow River are intertwined, and the surging Yangtze River is accompanied by the waves. Today, listen to me. Everyone, listen to me. Today, I will not be telling a story. I will only talk about that Shuzhou's Wangjiang connects the 2 shores. The storyteller was a storyteller. Even if he was not a storyteller, his mouth was still so smooth. The diners were still attracted to him. Someone brought a pot of tea to the storyteller and sat in front of him, waiting for him to speak. Last time, it said to stop for a while. This time, one side is lively while the other side is cold. Don't forget each other at any corner of the world. It said that when Commandery Prince Tang and then Commandery Prince Li saw that the spring plowing in Shuzhou was over, they suddenly thought of their playmates, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, who were still officials in Baoxing County. This Zhang Xiaobao was once the economic commander in Jiannandao. He was able to do whatever he wanted. Someone asked, "Who is Wang Wan?" Don't be in a hurry. Listen to me in detail. It said that there was a murder case at the Wangjiang embankment. The mastermind behind it was Tubo. The logistics of Ezhou were all mobilized. In fact, this is not what I am going to talk about today. It said that Commandery Prince Tang thought of the 2 of them and came to see them. Therefore, he picked up his brush and wrote a letter. When he wrote back, he found out that there was a Shinsai County beside Baoxing County. Out of kindness, Commandery Prince Li wanted to do something for the people in Shinsai County. The situation is like this. The storyteller felt very awkward. What he wanted to say could have been said in a few sentences, but he was not satisfied and insisted on adding in a lot of things. The listeners did not care whether or not they added anything else, as long as there was something to listen to. All of them listened attentively to the storyteller's vernacular. You're tuning in to the Echo Reads YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.